know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG, Balance 7, and PlayActionPools.com. It's that time of the year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the football season. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college sports action this season. Get all the updated odds, props, and contests, including online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest, the world's largest $200,000 NFL Survivor contest, open now at BetOnline. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. Take advantage of their opening day super promo. Make a bet on the Thursday, September 9th season opener between the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager will be refunded up to $25 for new customers only when signing up and using promo code NFL100. BetOnline is the safest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. So, I don't know if you heard, but apparently former NBA player Lamar Odom may be returning to professional basketball in Spain soon. I was reading a press release about how he started taking a pH balancing alkaline supplement called Balance 7, and that's what has helped him bounce back from his hospitalization in 2015. He even said, "I have an enormous amount of energy, which is good for me. It's important when working out. I always need energy to level up." I couldn't agree more with Lamar. And after watching him fight Aaron Carter in July's celebrity boxing match, I think it's safe to say that Balance 7 is working for him. Cool thing is, we've got a promotion running with Balance 7 right now, where if you go to their website, balance7.com, and use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, at checkout, you'll receive a free 4-ounce bottle of My Smooth Skin with any purchase of Balance 7 products. That product retails at $13.99. So I'd say it's pretty worth it. Again, head to balance7.com and use the code BLEAV at checkout to get in on the promotion. I know I will. If it worked for him, I think it can work for you too. Hey there, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash. I'm here with our hosts, former tight end Jason Dunn and former cornerback Eric Warfield. Tonight, we have kind of a different kind of show where our first guest of the night will be Derrick Johnson, former linebacker from Texas, who played for the Chiefs for a long, long time, and is probably one of the best to ever play, put on a Chiefs uniform. Second half of the show, we have two other former Chief players in former middle linebacker Mike Maslowski, current Chiefs ambassador, and also former cornerback who was Eric's mentor back in the day, James Hasty, is coming on to talk about a lot of stuff. But yeah, excited to get into it, and so let's go.
What up, Kenfo?
What's up with it?
But I just said, man, I'm sitting over here being retired. I ain't doing nothing. And so the coach asked me, "Hey man, would you like to coach?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So I just knew it was like an hour, 2 hours after school every day. You know, I'm married with my son, so it would just kind of just it fit. It fit. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I was good with it. Yeah.
Makes
so
sense.
if it wasn't my son, it might be a different story. You know, yeah. But then I tell you what I found. I ended up falling in love with a DJ. Just fell in love, man, with coaching. Yeah, high school especially. Yeah. Definitely.
Was it hard to step back from it?
It was, but I made the promoted. I went to college, and I tell you who got me on with him was Vern's son, Josh.
Okay.
He was up there with Vernon, right? Was you there when Vernon Dean was there?
He's a DB coach?
Yeah, he was there.
Coach. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. So his son became the head coach down here at Kentucky State. And so we seen each other out one night. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. I'm like, he's like, "Man, I'm Dean's son." I'm like, "Josh?" I remember, Josh being younger, at the time, man, at San Diego State. But yeah, he was the head coach, man. He got me on the staff up there, man. And it It was more so like that football atmosphere. You know how we talk about being away from the game, you don't really get the locker room? You know, I had that. On our staff, we had 5 of us that played in the NFL. So
that's dope.
You know, we just
chop
a story. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
What you got going on, DJ?
What's up?
What you got going on?
Nothing. Foundation stuff, but other than that, I ain't doing nothing. I love it too. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm loving it. Trying to golf now, all that.
Are you the one of Boston Golf Clubs?
Yeah, I'm in it. Tough now. I ain't good, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there, bro.
Hey, you ain't gonna help. I tell you this, that you'll never be good.
I know. That's what, man. So many people have told me that. It's like, man, you're gonna be working on your game forever. I just want to play some bogey golf and just,
That's it. That is it. So how many kids you got right now, man?
I right now I'm done, but I got 6. I got 6. I got 5 boys. 5 boys and 1 baby girl, man. So I'm
you were there. They got you a little princess.
Yeah, so I'm out. What about you?
Man, I got 1. That's it.
Got 1. Okay, and JD, you only got.
I got 4. No, I got 4. Yeah. I was just looking at Eve when he said 1. I'm like,
I know. I know a couple people said they didn't have your baby.
You know, hey, I used to see a whole lot of green-eyed babies walking around. Hold on, wait a minute.
Hey, so you know they're gonna be mixed kids too. You know that.
Right. Green-eyed, light-skinned pigeon toe.
Yep.
Yeah, silly. So you in Austin?
Yeah, I'm in Austin, man. Yep. Back here. So being, going to UT. Being a Longhorn, they treat us good here. So I got this. This is my only spot to be. Got all my connects here.
I did that same thing. Went back to Nebraska, man. And it's like when you go to school there and you do good things at the university, man, they treat you so well. Like
they do.
The whole city is basically yours. So the only problem you'll get is like it's hard to go to a Nebraska game for me. And just to enjoy it because everybody's got questions. Everybody wants to talk about football. So
that's the only thing. I definitely enjoy the game. Not going to the game. I enjoy that now. But it's good networking when I go though. I meet a lot of people. Yeah.
And it's not like you don't want to not talk to people, but it's like it's at a point in your life to where you want to be a fan. Yeah. And you can't really sit back and enjoy the game because you got to answer 1,000 questions.
Yeah, no, that's true. And of course, you want to be nice and stuff, but at the same time, you're like, man, I'm a football head. I like the game of football. I like the schemes and all that stuff. I want to see what's going on, but kind of at the game, it's a lot going on, man. And half the people they're not watching the game. They're enjoying the atmosphere, and I'm I want to enjoy the atmosphere, but I want to watch the game. I want to see some stuff.
I agree, man. And it's like the one thing you cannot do is sit in the stands.
Yeah.
So, but being on the sidelines is the same thing because you're gonna get it from like the alumni or some of the coaches, some of the players, whatever. But it's fun to get back and watch your alma mater play, and especially like living in the city and trying to support them. You right now, you're in the same situation as I am because you come from a school that's, known for, especially mine is known for football.
Yeah.
Texas is basically known for all sports. Y'all have been good at everything pretty much. And to see it not back at the epitome of what you know it as or what you left it as. And so it's kind of hard to sit and watch the program go through these struggles.
You go through that too. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, it's definitely hard, man. That's just, it's one of those things where you still got to support the guys because eventually, things are going to turn around for them, and you want to be there for them guys because it is a tough time being a Husker or being a Longhorn right now. But things will turn around for them. They got hiring great coaches and stuff. Coach Sark right now is doing a great job. I don't know how he dropped the ball against Arkansas last week. That was that's one of the things you gotta try to bounce back from. But you know, I believe burnt orange, so it is. You know, they can't do no wrong. With me.
Man, I got a group. I'm in a group text with me, Roy Williams, the receiver, VY, Vince Young, BJ Johnson, and it's somebody else from UT.
You can't show nobody you can't show nobody them text messages then.
Hey man, them boys are so upset. And we were chatting about the little Arkansas game, and them boys, it's hard, man, especially when you think you got the right coach and you go and you watch practice and you see the way that where the team is playing, and all of a sudden it comes to that one game and you see the effort, or not even just the effort, but just the turnout of the game. It's like, this ain't the team that I saw at practice. This ain't the coaching that I saw. But the thing is like you said, you got to support it. Yeah. No matter what, thick or thin, you're behind it. And that's the thing that's with me. I don't bring negative content to the table when I talk about my team, whether it's Nebraska or the Chiefs. So
So let me ask you this, then. Hold on, let me ask you this. So do y'all think part of the problem is, do y'all feel like this generation of players and athletes are more privileged than when y'all were? I know, like, my school, definitely, it's totally different than how it was when I was playing. And so now it just seems like, okay.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, you get this, first of all, social media kind of, you can kind of, point the finger at social media, but, people are just a little more big time now. It's just what it is. Things are hyped up more than what they should, or things are done just to put on social media. And I tell you what, sometimes that's more important than the work that you do, man. Man, you got to grind. I'm talking about when nobody looking, you got to grind always. And regardless of if you don't get to post that, or if somebody don't see it, they'll see it on Saturday or Sunday or whenever you play. They'll see that work. But it's just the age we live in, and it's a big time business. Social media, and I bet it's hard for coaches. I mean, you coach during this era, so making sure that the guys are staying off of that stuff. It can be a good thing too, but most of the time it's a distraction.
Oh, definitely.
That's the biggest part of social media, because like right now, everybody's got an opinion, and that opinion matters. And so like, if, a coaches could coach for 10 plus years and have losing records. And it wasn't that big. It was a big deal, but it wasn't as big of a deal. But you go get you two losing years, you gotta hear all this stuff about these write-ups about, it could be some slow joke. You have no idea who it is. But they write an opinion and say you're not worth the money we're paying you.
Yep.
And now that's out there.
Yep.
Oh, he did this, he did that. But it's out in the media now, and now it's blown out of proportion.
Yeah, it's viral too. Everybody's seeing it. Everybody's hearing it. Yep.
Exactly. And so then you get former players that might say something, and then it's like a bigger story. So yeah, social media is killing it.
Yeah, and you know what? I think their mindset has to maybe be stronger than ours in a sense, just because I was just reading. I had this little booklet made from all my years at the Chiefs or whatever. I forgot that it's legendary or something like that. And I'm looking through the book, and I've read some articles. They pulled up every article and posted it. I mean, they put it in a big book and everything. So I'm just now reading some stuff, and it was some stuff in there. I'm like, man, there's some bad. Like they were talking, bad about me, but I never really saw it like that. So because I was, playing in the age that I played in, but now they say something bad about you, everybody's gonna hear about it, and it's gonna be posted up and all that stuff. So it's one of those things where you got to have some armadillo skin, some tough skin, being in this age. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not as hard as us, but mentally, a lot of stuff gets out there that they have to be like, man, no, I know who I am, I know who my identity is.
Right.
And you may not have it. You may not even have a bad game, but just because somebody don't even like you, you might, make a play 15 yards down the field. You have that first down that put you in field goal position, and somebody's just going off on you. Oh, we got to get rid of him. He did this. It's hard to not even be on social media, because that's the way of life nowadays. And so you got to try to, like you said, block that stuff out and just think about the bigger picture at hand. It's like, this is my job, so I can't sit there and take it to the heart what one person has to say about me, and I got a bigger, issue, which is to, correct whatever mistakes I made through film, through my coaches.
And if that does, and if honestly, if that does affect you and distract you on the field, it's kind of true. Then, if it affects you just like that, man, you gotta. Football is a tough sport, man. Any sport is tough, but I'm
look
just
how
talking
it's the same thing Kevin Durant went with. There's no way Kevin Durant should sit up and think that somebody that's writing an article about him should have anything to do with his basketball career. So he did the whole thing where he made another page so he could respond to these people. Yeah, like, you don't need to do that. Like, you Kevin Durant, you one of the top 3 players.
Yeah, but the guys, they decide to start defining themselves. Right. Part of the problem is when they come out on social media, it's almost their fault, right? Because they engage with everything, and so sometimes they put things out. The people are like, "Well, why is this guy putting things out?" So I look at it like this. Sometimes you come in on social media and you're talking so much noise, right? And you're saying this and that. Well, guess what? You got to back it up. Somebody like, well, shoot, you got to show me this. Don't tell me you're going to do this and you're going to do that. I'm going to snatch his chain, or I'm going to get, 4 or 5 touchdowns, and then all of a sudden it don't come to fruition. So now, you have a freedom of speech. You can say certain things, but guess what? People going to talk back. You need to understand. You get on this joker right here, man, it's going to talk back to you. It will.
Yeah, it is.
People you don't know. Okay, but look at what CEH is going through right now. I don't think CEH was the big problem was in us losing the game.
Oh, shit. One play never lose a game.
Okay,
right?
So the defensive line came through Tony and, from the side hits the ball out of his hand. Mm-hmm. He's already got another guy in his face that he's trying to duck down to avoid just so he can get down and at least stop, keep the clock rolling.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you get a defensive lineman come from the side, he punches that ball out. He doesn't see him. And so everybody's blaming, CEH because he fumbled when you had Tony let this guy come through the offensive line and get a little side punch, and all of a sudden we lose the ball, we lose the game.
Yeah,
now,
they both bear
this is ultimate team game, right? Yeah,
it's
a
team game. But look,
game.
right now, he's the main one that's taking all the heat. He's a bust. He's not the guy we thought he is.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, yeah, until he get back. Yeah, okay, he's back on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that they. I mean, obviously, I don't live in KC, but I mean,
I would live in KC. DJ, good on Twitter right now. Read Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you always going to have that. Now, I will say this, right? And this is us as players. What we hear in the locker room, being coached up, what they will say, right? That situation, no situational football. I'm just saying as a coach, no situational football. Go in, both hands on the football, right? You're going to get contact. The guy's going to punch at the ball. But you are absolutely right. Look, now one play loses and wins the game. It shouldn't happen that way, right? Because you can say, well, what about shit? They scored 36 points. What about all these other, what I'm saying, them other touchdowns before the end? Yeah.
I mean, the defense is taking the heat. Defense is taking it like straight up and on, but one of the main focal points. So that the things I've read mostly is CEH is, he lost the game. That's what the media is saying, not media, but social media.
Yeah.
Sorensen doesn't need to be starting. Neiman doesn't need to be starting. Chris Jones need to be back at D tackle. Get rid of Frank Clark. Reed hasn't lived up to the money and the expectations we brought him in for. It's just a lot of riffraff, all because we lost the game. We were in a situation to win. Now, if we win this game, do we get all this same bad news? I mean, I think the defense is going to take it to a certain extent because we've gotten ran through from two good teams that lead the NFL in rushing. That's Cleveland and Baltimore. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah,
I just don't think
it's. I mean, first of all, we played two playoff teams that are really good that we will really see good down the road. That's what it is. We 1-1 against two playoff teams, really good playoff teams, and eventually, Ravens. We had it coming to us, with the Ravens. I mean, I think we make 3 or 4-0 against the Ravens. So it's one of those things where, and the Ravens are a good team. They got good players and things happen in the game. Of course, I mean, with the, Pat Mahomes throwing the interception, that was the interception that he knows that, he can't do that. So it's so many plays in the game that you say, man, this just shouldn't happen. But I tell you what, there's one thing that cures a lot of things is winning. And you win about 3 in a row. And then I'm telling you, I've seen it. It's just people just say, oh man, I said that. Like, yeah, you said that about me in week 2. And now you praising me. It's just how it is. It comes with the territory.
Derrick, did that game remind you of all of the Thursday night game against the Broncos where Jamal fumbled it?
Yes. Oh, that hurt. That still hurts, man. That's but at the same time, but you don't look at Jamal and say, man, you lost us a game. It's one of those things what you got to learn from. Hopefully that's not a playoff game or a championship game, but something you got to learn from. Of course, he already feels bad because he holds himself at a high standard already. But somehow you got to get better from that. But being a player is much different from the outsiders talking. But we don't think of, oh man, if he wouldn't have missed that kick or he would, because everybody has a part in that. Everybody on that team has a part in that loss. I'm sure plenty of people raise their hand and say, man, I just bummed it on this, and they got a touchdown on this, or they did this the whole game. And but as players, I think the Chiefs have a good culture of guys, like good character guys, especially with Tyrann Mathieu and those guys, just strong-headed guys that they're good. It's a veteran team. They'll be good. That's not a problem. We do need to start running the ball better on offense, though. I do need to mention that. That will help Pat Mahomes not be Superman every single time. Now he's going to do it 9 times out of 10, but sometimes he's not.
Right. You know what, man? I learned a long time ago that, Coach told me, he said, man, you got to take criticism and praise the same way, with a grain of salt. So don't get too high on something, don't get too low on anything, right? As players, we got to be right here with it. And the noise is always going to be on the outside. It's always the inside. We know we got each other's back. We know what it is, right? It's like, look, we're playing for everybody in this room, this organization, to try to get a championship. That's what we're trying to obtain. Yeah. If we start putting out, looking at the values of opinions out here, not saying that people's opinions are not valuable, but also too, we got to be, objective to what the real truth is, right? Is CEH a bad player? No, he's not. Not at all. So when people use these things, to try to, describe who you are, ain't no reason to listen to them. None whatsoever. And look, but I tell you what, if you're on the team and the team, people in the start pointing fingers, oh, that guy's bad.
Yeah, you got a bad team. Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true. And I like that, JD. That's a kind of quote that I use like for a life lesson. Like, it's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is either. But you just got to try to keep getting better, learn from everything. But no, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Last week, you guys, JD and E, were talking about the receivers, the number 2 receiver who's going to come out as the number 2 guy. And E and Mark Clayton made the point, if you're not getting targets, how can you actually prove that if you're the number 2 guy? And I think, would you say with the amount of carries that CEH is getting, I mean, is it kind of 10 to 13 carries? Is that enough touches to prove that he is the guy or not the guy? I mean, talking about,
I don't think that's enough touches. But we all know Andy's offense, Andy can be pass happy. He's had a lot of success being pass happy. But at the same time, he knows this. Everybody knows this. You got to, at some point, get the running game going. And he will. I'm not worried about that. But the number 2, that's a good, because number 2 receiver is Travis Kelce. That's the number 2 receiver. But I mean, I'm trying to see Hardman. I mean, I want Hardman to be some, I don't know if his statue is as big as Watkins was when he was there. I don't know. I know he's faster, but I don't know.
I mean, Sammy was basically proven, though. Sammy was proven in college, and he's proven, when he got to Buffalo. So it was just a matter of he was getting limited catches because of Tyreek Hill and Kelce when he got here. So he was basically our possession guy. We need you to possess this. I
thought he did well.
He did a really good job.
Yeah.
But then it's like, he gets so much. We got so much talk. My bad, JD. It was so much talk because the first game, Mecole Hardman was only targeted 3 times. Robinson was only targeted twice. Pringle was targeted twice. And so those only targeted, thrown at.
Wow.
And so the conversation was like, these aren't the guys that, we were thinking they were going to be because they're not putting up the numbers that or yardages that Watkins was doing or that we expected. And all of a sudden it comes to the second game, Tyreek Hill is being double and triple teamed. Now they're the targeted guys. So they got to make up for what he was, not putting out. And they did well. They did really good.
They're going to see that more. They're going to see that more, actually. They're going to see that defense more. Like, they're going to play man-to-man, and they're going to put 2 over top, and you have to do it. If not, they're going to kill you.
I agree. But the thing
Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce cannot beat me. I'm not going to let these guys beat me. Yeah. So as a defensive coordinator, it just makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you do that, right? Yeah. So you're always going to run that. And so I think what we were talking about kind of last week when we were saying these guys, when they do have opportunities, even if it's 3 opportunities, right? Like, you got to make them. You got to be there. You got to show up for it. And like you said, the more times you make plays, the more looks you're going to get. Yeah. So it's like fitting that role of being like, like the number 2, wide receiver. Well, shoot, don't just be a guy. Shoot, be that guy. Be that guy who's coming, taking Sammy's his catches. Matter of fact, be that guy who is Johnny on the spot all the time. So now when Tyreek, when I look at lopsided throws, right? The first week, he had 14 targets. It was 38 throws total in the game. 14 went to Tyreek Hill, okay? All right. Now, look, we know the plays you run in practice. We run them over every single day, over and over every single day. The thing is, when your number is called just based off the play, right? Based off the play, what the coverage is going to be. You're going to get the look, either first, second, or third progression. That's how it works offensively. Yeah. That's it. Thing is, he shouldn't have 14 looks. He shouldn't. So because on some of these plays, these other guys should be able to get open. I'm not saying they didn't. Sometimes, and we talked about this, right, that everything's not going to be perfect. But at least when you have these chances and opportunities, you got to make them, right? So you can get more opportunities. So to be that good. But the guys, man, they play exceptional. They did. I love the guys, man. Mecole stepped up. Robinson did a good job. Pringle, was able to make his name heard, a few times. Like you said, DJ, I think the running game needs to be a little bit more dynamic. That's the only way you're going to be able to get, the defense is back on their heels, right? If I'm not worried about you running the football, right? Yeah. Then guess what? Look, my defensive ends are peeling their ears back and coming after it, right? Yep. That's all you're doing. And so
I will say this here. I'm still all for CEH. But the thing with him, he's not a speed back, so he's not going to beat you around the corners. We've seen that, like, a lot of toss plays. He's not going to break 60, 70 yards run like Jamal was. He's not a big back, so he's not going to break a lot of tackles. He's not going to get you that 3rd and 2 that you might need when you got short yardage. Yeah. He's basically that almost like, what do you call that X back that swing passes, kind of a almost like Bell was at Pittsburgh, but a smaller side, but more that you can put out in passing plays.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Quick.
Swiss Army knife is what he is.
He's not a big back. You don't want to, he's not getting you short yards. He's not going to get you 100 yards a game. We've seen that. So I think we do need to go out and get a bigger, faster back that hit corners, hit holes, hit the long run ball. We don't have that at CEH.
It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt at all. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. That wouldn't hurt at all. I mean, that's not no knock against Clyde. I mean, that's who he is. He can still help us, but definitely getting someone else that can fall for 2 or 3 yards is probably will work.
Go find our Spencer Ware.
I know, right?
See, y'all say that like it's being a running back. To me, that 2 or 3 yards got to come out of offensive line too, right? I mean, these guys will be able to come, put your feet to the ground and come off the line of scrimmage to push these guys over. That's part of it too. Man, it's an attitude. I look at it like when you need 2 yards, just like y'all look on defense, hey, when you want to stifle them, it's an attitude, right? Yeah. Straight attitude. That's what it's got to be. DJ, you looking at You're going to come and try to shorten somebody's neck up, ain't you? That's what you're going to try to do.
Look at the tight end talking about offensive lineman stuff. Look at the
tight end.
That's right.
DJ, you know he part offensive lineman himself.
Hey, I know when them meat hooks get up in you. It's
that's right.
Just fall down.
All day. I'm right here with it, DJ. Go get outside the frame. I'm keeping you right here close. That's it.
Sure. Oh, that's awesome, man.
Well, the thing about the kind of the Twitter world, like, going at CEH, big point was that he was this receiving back in college, but he's not getting the catches out of the backfield like Jamal was. And I guess what are you guys seeing that the reason why he's not getting the touches? Is it as a game plan, or is it just how are we
passing yards? I don't know. I think Pat's Pat holds the ball long, and he wants to pass it downfield. So half of those throws he's not throwing to the sideline. He don't want that. He don't want that throw. That's like a check down to him. But maybe that can cause some more plays that are specialized for Clyde to get out something quick right now. I'm sure Reed has a lot of those plays in his playbook, but Pat wants to throw down the field. So
yeah,
I don't know how that's gonna. Yeah,
that's good. That's what I was thinking, man. He wants chunks. If you look at, he ain't quite looking left to right. He's looking downfield, down.
And he's holding it
like
too.
He's holding.
I know as a tight end that's part of the line. When you keep bagging up, you're like, man, here we go, man. They're gonna get to you.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing about that is, like, if you take Tariq out, because Tariq is taking the top off defense, he's gonna expand the defense to open up gaps. Mm-hmm. So you don't really have to double team Kelce, because you can give up those 7 to 15 yard catches.
That is true.
But if you leave Tariq open, you're giving up big chunks.
That is true.
Right.
That's what happened.
That's
how Robinson got his little, I forgot the play, but that touchdown was the middle of the field. They was in cover 3 in the middle of the field. Safety had to, go help on Tyreek going a deep over route, and Robinson made like a double move to a post, and he was open. So that's he can get people open. Yeah.
But that's another thing. It's like, that's why I was telling him last week, you can't double both of our good guys. You can't double Kelce, and you can't double Tariq Hill. That's your whole defense torn apart if you do that. And so you can only double one of those guys, and the best one to double is Tariq, because you don't want the top taking off your defense. That's just going to expose everything. So the best thing to do is to double Tariq. Kelce's going to get his numbers because he's got all his wiggle within that 7-15 yards. And then the other guys, they just got to beat you one-on-one. And then they stood up to the test, but can they continue to do it week after week? And so now it's going to have to come to a point to where, are you going to continue giving up Kelce these big numbers?
I got a question for you, Warfield. Hey, being a DB, I think I hold Kelce to it. I think Kelce is dope. Really, I think he's the man, because
I'm right there with you.
They have DBs on him all the time, and it don't matter who on him. It don't matter. It doesn't matter who's on him. He's gonna give him his wiggle, boom, boom, and I mean, he's doing his thing, man. I mean, I'll be really like looking like, man, I'm very impressed, very impressed.
Kelce is not like Waller. Waller is like athletic, like fast.
Right.
He's not like Kittle. Kittle is like weight room tough, with
like
good
Gronk.
skills.
Like Gronk.
Gronkish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gronkish, yeah.
Kelce is just one of them swaggerific dude. Like, God, he brings his swag to the game. All them dance moves, that shit, it plays into his game of getting over.
That is true. How would you cover him? I mean, how would you stop him? One-on-one, no help.
I'm gonna put it. You got to put a corner on him, because the safety. He's gonna be the safety all day, every day. He's gonna eat
bigger than a corner, though. He's bigger.
It doesn't matter.
Bigger than.
He's gonna be the corner on deep routes. He's got the size. All that little inside shifty stuff, corners are gonna get that.
Gotcha.
Linebackers don't stand a chance. Safeties, you're 50-50. Corners, you got a better chance, because that's what you do. You cover those kind of routes. Now, the thing is, Kelce's been doing this for double-digit years. Nobody's been able to stop him yet. So he's going to get what he's going to get. and he knows how to use the field to his advantage. He knows the routes. So I mean, I watch him. He's like he doesn't even run precise routes. He knows where to cut off and get the first down. He knows where to make his move to get away from his.
He'll cut off. He'll cheat it quick. He'll just get the ball.
He's smart. He's intelligent. Like I said,
but not only that though. But Pat knows it. Pat knows how he's running the route. You know, when he come out, look, he got a connection. And so when he's sitting over, he's thinking like, look, you know, instead of going 8, go 6, right? Some of the routes like he's doing, like, they're not precise routes, but the way that he runs it, he's deceptive. Like his speed and his quickness is really deceptive. And I think it's what guys, you know, kind of, it's almost like Larry Bird was in basketball, right?
Yeah.
Larry wasn't the fastest guy, but he'll beat you on everything. You know, he's get a rebound.
30 any day.
All day. And everybody like, man, how's this guy getting open? How's he scoring on you, right? Yeah, Larry coming in like, man, I'm ready to put 40 on you. I'm ready to hang 40 up on you in the rafters. You know, so but Kelce is just, I call him the rubber band man because that wiggle is just enough subtle where he's coming right after break, ball's right here. Now I'm looking when Pat is scrambling, Kelce just moving to get open. He just giving him the target, pass, ball, right? I'm looking, ball. So that's the best way I look at it is kind of like Tampa did it. And you got to put a body on him right now at the line of scrimmage. If you don't put hands on him at the line of scrimmage to slow him down,
that's true.
He's going to eat your lunch. So,
I had a question. So last week, I think it was when Kelce went on the Monday Night Football with the two Mannings, and he was talking about one of the routes he ran during the Cleveland game. He said, I kind of made up this route. I looked back at Pat and I was like, I'm gonna do some crazy shit right here. Essentially, Patrick knew that he was gonna do that, and he threw the ball. Did Tony ever do stuff like that where he kind of like improv his own route?
No, we had the route tree. You had to pretty much stick with it, and ours is on timing. That's the difference. So like when our offense, you knew out of like 8 steps, balls here, right? And that's what like Trent was so good at, just knowing, you know, just being with St. Louis and whatnot, how deep guys should be. He just knew it. Out of his hands, shoot, 4.5 seconds, ball, right? 3 seconds, ball. You know, 8 steps, ball. And so everything was on time and more so in our offense as opposed to this one. This one is like, it's a little bit more, you know, kind of open, kind of when you get open in the route, find the holes in the windows. You know, that's why them guys are so good at it because, you know, with Pat, he's looking one way, throwing another because he knows it. No look pass. So we got so that's the big difference.
Tony was always open too, wasn't he? He always
open. That's what he said.
If he didn't catch a touchdown, I only played 3 or 4 years with him, but I used to go to the sideline and see him. Hey, I'm open. If he didn't catch the touchdown, he wanted all of them. Greedy.
Tony got a way of using that chicken wing. So when he's running and he hits you with that elbow,
I hated that. All you can do is you gotta grab him, you gotta hold him or something.
Right. Man, look, DJ, you say that, but you should have been in the meeting room with it. That sucker. How'd he miss me? I'm like, daggone, are you open every play? Every play you open. I mean, daggone. JD, what do you look? The film don't lie. The sky don't lie. Look at it. I'm open. I'm like, man, look. I leave.
I can see him doing that. I'm sure he got some stories of you too. I'm
sure he does. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what about the linebacker core, DJ?
You know what? Last 2 weeks, y'all said it already about being able to stop the run, and we went against the 2 best running teams in the league. In a way, top 5, I should say, but. We got to figure out how to stop the run because that's just how people want to slow us down on offense. I'm talking about getting the ball out of Pat's hand. A team's game plan is, hey, let's run the ball, keep this clock going. I know the Raiders are going to try to do that. That's just and it is smart to do that if you can't stop the run. But we got the players to do it. We just have to figure it out. But I tell you what, Bolton, Nick is a guy that's just really showed up on my radar the last couple of weeks. 5'4" is just shooting gaps. He's using his hands. I mean, I didn't use my hands the first 2 years. I mean, he's already boom. He already has it down. Playing like a veteran out there. Hitchens, it's a guy that probably should. It's going to make some more plays down the road. I see him go out and in. I mean, they got Ben coming in and out. I don't even know the rotation right now with the linebackers, but they have to figure out how to get everybody together. Because I'm a linebacker, so I'm biased about linebackers. That's the kind of core of the defense. Obviously, everything starts up front from defensive line to offensive line, but like the glue to hold it together is the linebacker. As far as I'm talking about passing game and the running game. But I believe in the guys. I mean, that they're all athletics. They can all run. I mean, all three of them can run. When is Gay out? When is Gay coming?
What is it, turf toe or something? No, it's something with his foot.
Yeah, it was. I believe it was turf toe. They said he'll be back in a few weeks. Apparently, Andy Reid said at his press conference today that he's a guy that can definitely help. He's a guy that can definitely help. You talking about a young thumper. But I believe they'll figure it out, and maybe Chris does need to come back in the middle. I don't know. I mean, first game it didn't look that way. He killed them on the outside. So when you play against a team like the Ravens and you put Chris Jones out on the outside and you don't block him, and then you got to get him in space to read all that stuff. That's hard, man. That's hard for linebackers to do that. So I don't know if he should be back in the middle. I think let's play him on the outside a couple more games and see how it goes.
Yeah. So my little read on the linebackers is I'm not gonna sit here and dog him. I love Bolden too. The thing he does that reminds me a lot of you, he shoots gap, but he uses his hands a lot more. So the thing, when you shoot a gap, you already see the play. Yeah. Every time I've seen DJ shoot a gap, DJ's making a play on the running back. He's going to make a tackle instead of engaging with the offensive line and trying to play and then try to make a tackle.
Yeah.
Bolden he's on that path. He's not there yet. But of the backers that we have, he is our best one. The others, they got the potential. They wouldn't be on the team if they did. To me, it's just they read the plays a little bit slower. I don't know if they're thinking about pass first and then trying to get up to the gaps. And by that time, they got alignment on them. That's too late. And so that's creating them gaps. Chris is up the field trying to look for a pass, and he's second guessing himself. And so I'm not too big on the experiment with him. If we're going to use him that way, I'd rather us use him the way LA uses Aaron Donald, which they use him all over the offensive line or defensive line, whether it's left, right, in the middle. Yeah. Right now, we're just using Chris on the outside, and I'm not a fan of just him being at a defensive end.
He's very disruptive, so he can be in the middle and be able to go. Because if you see 9-5 over here, let's run. Let's go the other way.
Absolutely. Exactly.
That's what yeah.
And so it's like they're designing plays to keep him from making the play.
Yeah,
he's just stuck. Yeah, he's stuck on the right. That's what if he's gonna play that way. We got plays that we can get by him. If he's gonna get up the field, run the ball right at him. He's gonna be already passing. So I like the process of moving him around instead of leaving him at defensive end.
That's it, but it goes into, like I was just saying, look, I'm not gonna let Tyreek or Kelce beat me, just like I'm not gonna let Chris Jones and Matthew beat me either, right? These two guys I'm just trying to make, not a factor in the game. And like you said, a lot of it was, hey, this guy's over here, line him up, let's run away from him. And this past game, look, two great game plans is what they've been doing to the linebackers. Sometimes when you got like young guys in and guys who may be coming in for a guy, replacing him, run a lot of misdirection. There was a lot of misdirection plays in there, man. A lot of that. It was just riding the guy and let's go. And so you were seeing, like you were saying, that misstep, or once you overcommit as a linebacker, DJ, it's over. I can get up to you on the second level, get my hands on you. Hey,
man, that's bad luck right there. Yeah.
It's a bad luck. It's a win. It's a win. If I could dictate what the defense does by my offensive scheme, that's what we're trying to do constantly, every single play. Look, how can we get these guys' eyes over here and then run here? And so that's what makes like Lamar dangerous, right? I mean, that's part of like that whole deal of misdirection. That's why the Ravens have been good running the football. That's their bread and butter. That's what they've been doing. They ain't looking, and we know the run opens up the pass, right? That's what happens. Start running the football. Oh, Hollywood Brown. Let him, listen to him. And so
I think being a really good linebacker and having a lot of success in linebackers, you got to have great eyes. Like, you have to have great eyes. That's going to get you in position to make plays and to be able to help your team out when you need them. But if you got bad eyes, or you're slow eyes, or you just a step off, they always talk about this as a game of inches. I mean, you step wrong this way a couple times and you're like, oh, they up on you. And you're like, golly, I should have did this. But a lot of times it's pre-snap reads and watching film and all that stuff that comes into play, where you say, hey, this fullback is tight over here. He ain't pulling on this way. So let me step over here just a little bit. Or the back is up a little bit. So it's probably going to be a pass. So I don't need to be, jumping up in there. So it's a lot of different keys that they can use as you watch film. But I tell you what, having great eyes really help the linebackers to make more plays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So right now, you're saying that we don't have great eyes right now.
Not more. No,
but young guys too, like DJ. Part of that is your experience, right? You had to learn having good eyes. It took you time.
That is true.
No.
It takes time.
Neither one of y'all can lie and say that. No
experience, right?
I'm saying it from experience. I've done it wrong. I've done it wrong before, and I've done it right a bunch of times, and consistently started doing it right. But now we're not consistently having great eyes.
As soon as they threw you in the fire, you was making plays. So you,
but there was some times you could trick me. You could trick me, but
right. DJ, I used to, hey, Vern used to say it like, look, don't use my name or somebody else's name in the same sentence, okay? Them guys ain't me, so don't. Well, DJ wanted to say, no, I'm just playing.
Hey, we got some really athletic linebackers, though. We got athletic linebackers. We don't need to go out and get anybody. We got the guys. We just got to go make some plays, man.
That's it. And I said the same thing. My thing is that I just think that they're reading the plays maybe a second slower than they should. If that foot goes back, you probably got a lineman dropping back for pass coverage. Yep. If that tackle's pulling and that foot that they go forward, you got to run. Yeah, most of the time. Yeah. So my thing is like watching that Baltimore game. I was more disappointed that, we get Lamar Jackson. What is he, 200 pounds? He's making runs, and he's not going backwards. He's always falling forward for an extra yard or two. I understand his speed when he's hitting outside and hitting gaps, but if he's running straight at us, there's no way he should get extra yardage on us.
Yeah, you hit him in the
mouth. Quarterback.
That's the quarterback. Yeah. You make him think twice. Like, all right, you might not want to run a quarterback power up the middle without starting quarterback.
Oh, right.
Maybe Cam Newton, but not Lamar.
Yeah.
And the stat that I saw right before we came on the show today was so far this season, opponents are 8 for 8 in the red zone against us. And the Chiefs have allowed 7.5 yards per play and 6.05 yards per rush, both of the worst through 2 weeks in franchise history.
And again, you got Cleveland, who had 2,000-yard rushers, and you got Baltimore, who's one of the top 5 offensive rushing teams. So, we went up against two of the best, but that still doesn't mean we should go out and just give them what they expect either. So,
you said we know that. They was 100% in the red zone.
Yeah, going into the game, you're going against a rushing attack, so that's not a surprise that they're running the ball. But I really think. I've been on both sides of it, a bad red zone team and a good red zone defense. I tell you what, I think it's easier. It's just my opinion. I think it's easier to stop them in the red zone because the field shrinks. So it's like I got my safeties up, Tyreek Hill. I don't care. You can't run past me now. It's just what it is. I mean, I can press you. I can do whatever, especially from the 15-yard line. But I think it gets harder for the offense when it gets closer to the end zone. But I mean, of course, not 1, 2, and 3 yard line. But I mean, when you get in the red zone, the 20-yard line and 15-yard line, man, it's hard to get in the end zone, I think.
You can't stretch the defense vertically. It's got to be horizontal. That's what he had to do, right? It's got to be across the field as opposed to the depth of it. It is. It's tough, man. It is. It's tough. That's why you need a good running team, to kind of pound the football to get yards. I mean, seriously. Really, that's what it is. So, man.
And it's like the opposite of what you played your last few years with the Chiefs with Bob Sutton's defense, which they were big plays, but once we got to the red zone, it was tough to score on our defenses. I mean, no matter where our defenses stood in the league, once you got to the red zone, it was just tough to score on us.
Yeah, and that ends up helping you win games too, because a lot of times we look at stats, we look at man, they got 300 or 400 yards on us, and then you say, hey, what was their stats in the red zone? Did they score touchdowns, or did it make them kick field goals? That's what it is about defense. The offense is so good, man. Don't worry about all them yards getting put up. Just, hey, bend but don't break. Hey, we get down here. Somebody, leader on the team needs to be, hey, guys, nope, we can't let them score. Like, hey, we got to knuckle up right now when you're down there in that red zone. And usually that helps you win games.
Yeah. I mean, right now we are what we are. We're 2 games in, and we can't go out there and go add no first-round picks. We can't go add no all-pro defensive end. We can't add no, Ed Reed to the secondary. So we are what we are. And, Spags has to go and see what he can do to reconstruct this defense to make it more successful than what it's shown. Again, we know it's against the 2 top teams with running offenses. And you're going to give up passing yards no matter what. We're just happy to have Tyrann Mathieu back. I think Sorensen is a good part of our defense. He's been a good part the last few years. I think it's good if we can alternate him and Juan in. Yeah. To give Juan some playing time. But, what's going to happen next week if, Sorensen goes out and gets 2 interceptions. And then, everybody's on his happy tail about all the big plays he made. So it is like what we said earlier. We can't just sit there and dog players because of one game. You got to hope that we bounce back, against the Chargers.
We will.
Yeah.
And the other question I want to ask you, DJ, is you see the Raiders for the first time in Mahomes' era. He's not the number 1 in the division. We're tied for first in division. Raiders and the Broncos right now are tied for number 1. What are your thoughts on the Raiders coming out? Some people are saying that they're legitimate threats to us. What are your thoughts on Derek Carr and what he's doing over there?
They have to beat us first. They haven't. They just don't. They're not good against the Chiefs. They really.
We won and 1 last year.
Yeah.
Huh?
We won and 1 last year.
1-1. Yeah.
1-1. Yeah. They 1-1. But usually it's 2-0. I mean, it's we usually sweep them every year, but especially since Andy's been there. But I'll tell you what, man. Having a veteran quarterback like Derek Carr, he's really starting fast. I'm not gonna put him up there quite yet because I've seen this. I've seen it. So I'll just say he's doing well now. He's got some young players around him that's really good, like Ruggs and those guys. But I tell you what, man, it'll be cool to. I want to see a good Raiders team come into Arrowhead. I want to see a good us to go to Vegas, and play a good Raiders team. I want to see that. That's good for business. I like that.
Yeah.
They're not bad on defense either, though.
My bad, JD. The thing with me with the Raiders is Crosby. Dude's been a menace over there on the defense.
Yep, young dude. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm against everybody. And so if he the kind of pressure he's putting on quarterbacks and then getting in the backfield is making it a whole lot easier for their defense. And the thing that Carr is doing is amazing. For one, he's got a top 3 tight end that's out there got 20 targets per game, and his young guys are taking advantage of opportunities. And so they got 2 big running backs too. So right now they got an overall decent team. It's going to be a good matchup we playing.
They do. We're going to have to beat them. We're going to really have to. They're not going to give us nothing. So that we want it that way anyway. That makes us better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man, look, I'm looking at the stats from last week, man. He threw for 382 yards, 2 touchdowns is what Derek Carr had. Almost 400 yards passing. So you got a security blanket like Waller, right? Like you said, Rudd's doing a good job. The defense is playing well. So, but they played, Pittsburgh, but the Ravens should have had them, should have beat them, right? First game of the season, should have beat.
We should have beat the Ravens.
We should have beat the Ravens too. I was thinking, the way that Ravens was playing Vegas, I'm like, well, shoot, we're gonna run through the Ravens in. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be easy. So, every week, man, is different. Every week is different. But like you said, on paper, they don't have a better team than we do. I mean, it should be, a pretty convincing victory. Like I'm talking about 10 points, two touchdowns. Well, we know it's the Raiders. It's always going to be a hard game anyway. That's just it's just how it works.
True. That is true.
Now, is there something too? I forgot who said it. Someone at one of the press conferences said it. Is that every time we play a team, every team that comes in to play Kansas City, it's like a Super Bowl to them. We saw it last year when the Raiders beat us. They drove the buses around the stadium like it was like a parade. And then when the Ravens beat us Sunday, it was they were celebrating like it was a Super Bowl. Is there something to that? Everyone kind of bringing their A game to us, and that means we kind of have to raise our level every Sunday now.
Yeah, I think we built a culture. I think we built something here that's going to last for a long time, and people want to beat the Chiefs. Like that's a hot thing to do right now. You come beat the Chiefs, you're like, man, we're pretty freaking good. I mean, if you can beat the Chiefs, you are a really good team, and you got a chance to go all the way if you can beat the Chiefs. So that's a positive deal.
It is. Ever since we won the Super Bowl, I would say before then, every year we've been the favorites to go back to the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay won it last year. They still had the Chiefs favorite to go back to the Super Bowl this year and win it all this year. So we are the top dogs, and so when you beat the top dogs, it puts you in a certain category of where your season's headed or where you think you can be at the end of the season. So a win against us is a big win. We don't look at them that way because we are the top dog. And so a loss for us is, okay, we know what we did. We know the mistakes we made. We'll fix those. Catch us next game.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, and probably that's probably the reason that you're having a lot of like criticism too, E. You know what I mean? Because we have set the standard. We have the pinnacle. So, of course, if you look at the team who won it last year, Tampa Bay, right? I mean, they rolling on all cylinders right now. I mean, they look like they're just coming out the Super Bowl win, like they should be, how it should look. And so if we're looking at that and evaluating like teams like, oh, look at Tampa, how they're playing. Look at the Chiefs, how they're playing. Are the Chiefs struggling? No, not quite struggling, right? But Tampa Bay, because they won it last year, they're still kind of riding that wave, right? They're still riding that little wave. But then, of course, the Chiefs, like you said, because we won it, 2 years ago, they're still thinking like, look, we got to keep beating the Chiefs, Because if we do, we're going to see them and be in the AFC. So AFC, Chiefs, NFC, Tampa. But I still think, man, just on paper, bottom line, if everything's just based on with everybody being there, I mean, the Chiefs still win it. I just love, the chances of what you got offensively and defensively. Defense does enough, like you said, not breaking. They may bend, but they won't break. So that's what I look at.
I agree.
And so we talk about the Raiders, but this weekend we have the Chargers. What do you want to see this weekend that'll kind of calm our worries? I know some of us are not that worried. It was a good team we played. But what are some of the things you want to see us do in welcoming the Chargers to Kansas City this Sunday?
Well, we got to start fast. We got to. I don't want to say prove it to everybody or let people know, but we need to let everybody know, like, we kind of pissed off that, things happened the way they did last week, and we're going to bounce back. A good team, a really good team, a great team, you don't judge them on, winning every game. You judge them after a hit adversity or something happened where, people were on them and they missed the mark. How do they get back up? And I think the Chiefs will do well against a Chargers team that's, pretty salty. I think they're, pretty salty team. Of course, they are they 0-2?
No, they 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
Okay, they 1-1.
The Cowboys.
Okay, but I tell you what, man, close game. The Cowboys are, pretty good so far this year. So Chargers is not Chargers. You got to beat the Chargers. I mean, our division is up for grabs right now. Yep.
Toughest division in football right now. Oh no, that at least to me, NFC, but North is decent, but as far as Chargers, man, it's always going to be a hard thing. Like I said, the divisional game is always going to be hard. I don't care. Look, they see it. We know, Chargers come in, Raiders come in, Denver's going to come in as bad as they been. Yeah. And we just know it's always going to be a hard-fought game. That's just how it is in divisional games. You got to play them twice. Anytime you play a team twice, it's hard to get them, the second time.
It don't matter what they record. It don't matter what they record is. They know us. We know each other well.
Right.
I mean, I agree. I want to see fast play also, but we did that against Baltimore. First drive, they go down the field, we get a pick six. They come right back at the ball. They score. We get the ball. We score. We
at home though. It's different at home, man. It's different.
I agree. I mean, you get the crowd behind. You get that momentum. I mean, it ain't nothing like playing at Arrowhead, but it's still about us being solid and just making those key stops or key downs. So Herbert's a good quarterback. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, good receivers. So they have a good offense. It's just a matter of do we have to go out there offensively and match point for point and put up more than them? Or do we have the defense to go out there and get us a couple of stops? That way, we can have a more comfortable lead going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Sure. They got Cook, they got Eckler. They got a good offense, man. They got some guys over there.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there something to I know on the show we talked about betting lines and all that stuff, but I was looking at an article the other day that the Chiefs, like going back to last year, we don't really cover the spread a lot. And you can look some of the games where we like last year, we were dominating Tampa Bay during the regular season. That game ended up being way too close. It was 27-24 was the final score, I believe. And, that ended up being closer than it should have been. Is there something to us maybe coasting once we get into games? Like we take a 2-touchdown lead, we kind of coast a little bit. Then once the fourth quarter happens, we go on Pat's shoulders and, he does his magic. He does his magic trick, and then we end up winning the game and stuff. But do you guys get a sense of a bit of coasting once we kind of have a lead in games?
I hope that's not the case. I mean, it may look that way, but I mean, during all the games I played, I've never known a team to try to take it easy unless it's you're up 2 or 3 touchdowns with under 5 minutes to go, and you just start running the ball just to run the clock out. But no, I've never known a coach to just say, "Hey, we're just going to ease up off of them because we're up 3 touchdowns here in the first half." No.
Yeah, that's the time to put your foot on neck, or you can get your stat game up. You still want to play good. I mean, the one thing about being in the professional league, the eyes are always on you, right? You're always being evaluated. So you never want to put anything on film that you were coasting or you was, not doing your job. You always, that's the pressure that I enjoy now that I'm retired, that I don't have to deal with. Because there's amount of pressure when you play in the league, man. I mean, from every game to every practice, you gotta be on it. I don't care if you're sick or what. You gotta be top notch every play.
I think, man, there's hardly any team in the NFL that you can actually coast on anyway, right? I mean, even if you have a lead of like 14 points, you ain't really like, oh, okay, shoot, we all right here, like second and third quarter. Like you had to really think about, like E was saying, fourth quarter toward the end. Yeah, now you run the football, right? Now it's bully ball. But before the end, 14 points, second, third quarter, you're like, hey man, anything can happen. That's just that's NFL football. Anything can happen. Yeah. Interception, swing of the game, turns.
Yep.
Shoot, my son, man, they played. This guy scooped up the ball, scored, so it was going to be 14-0. Well, they take it back. All of a sudden, they take away like a touchdown, and all of a sudden, everything swings. It was like a 14-point swing to this. I'm like, yo, man.
Yeah. That's good. That's good football right there. Yeah. That's
good. Yeah. And everything just changed like in a matter of moments. And so, like you said, professionally, we know, look, when teams coming in, like they'll let you know, look, these guys getting paid too. So like, they ain't getting paid to take L's. They here to try to win. So don't ever believe like any game is just going to be that easy for anybody on any Sunday.
That's true.
A final question before we get to the predictions. I'm just curious. It's a division rival. Do you guys have any specific memories of playing the Chargers? That one that you're really proud of?
Man, you know what? Half of my career, well, a little bit over half my career, Chargers whooped my butt, man. Playing against LaDainian and playing against Phillip Rivers, they were hot, man. I'm like, dang. But no, I mean, it was always a tough battle, especially Antonio Gates covering him in the red zone and stuff. I think maybe a Monday night game for me sticks out. I don't know what year, maybe I don't know. One of them years I was there, but in the middle of my career, they came in a Monday night game, and they were hot. We were hot at the beginning of the year, and we pulled out a close game with them. So, but Chargers are always fun to go against.
That was the fumble. That was the fumble snap, right? EJ?
Yes. Yeah. And Andy Studebaker got that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That was a good game.
I used to hate it mainly because when I was playing them, it was on a baseball field. So you don't have all the
that hurts, don't it? Golly. You never fell on it. Did you fall on it? You took in the ground.
That's all. I hated playing out there just because you playing on the sand. Like, why can't y'all just afford to put us on a stadium, football stadium?
Yeah.
But other than that, like, it was fun, man, to have those rivalries against. I got to play, luxury to play against Doug Flutie, Drew Brees when he first got there. LT, yeah, that's the whole throwback name there. So yeah, it was some good memories, man. I got a couple of picks on them too. So
clock running, 3rd down and 12 from the shotgun is Brees, stands up strong, throws, picked off. It's intercepted by Warfield, the left corner. And the Chiefs have it.
Yeah, man, shoot, I've always had, pretty decent games against the Chargers. We run the football, man, but I had to go against the two Seans, Sean Phillips and Sean Merriman. And I used to always hate when Sean Merriman would get a little sack. He stuck that little, light switch out.
And they had Marcellus Wiley out there, too.
Marcellus, yeah. Oh, hammerhead out there on the end, defensive end.
Junior Seau.
Junior Seau, man. Look, Chargers has some really good teams, good teams. And it's always been just great competition. But as far as something that kind of sticks out to me, I know one thing: them jokers hated coming out there Kansas City during the wintertime. Oh, they had two sleeves on.
That is true. They hated that. That is so true.
You can just see them, man. They were just bundled up, had the little what's the name, the little face mask on,
and face mask.
Yeah. Little muff cooler, So I know that, man. Them jokers hate coming out there, man, during the wintertime.
You know what? I had my first interception with the Chargers, man. It came through the Chargers. Had my first pick, the pop cherry. Man. Yeah.
2nd down, 12 for the Chargers from their own 38. They fake the draw. Rivers sets up, fires it left. It's intercepted. Intercepted on the far side. Intercepted by Derrick Johnson. It is his first career interception.
Hey, one more question, Ewar. Do you remember? I'm sure you do. I don't know if it was 06. You had a pick in Houston, and I was a young player. I think I ran faster than you, man. I was
lead the way.
Running, I think it was you and Jared Allen trying to get in that picture, trying to get on ESPN. Man.
It was you and Jared Allen.
Yep.
Did you score?
Yeah. You scored right side of the field. I remember that.
Huh?
You took it to the house?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I took it to the house. Yeah.
That was on David Carr.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. The other car.
Yeah.
They got the hybrid. Now. What's Derrick? Yeah, he's the what they call them new cars he's the electric one now. He's the Tesla of the family.
No, man, look, I was telling people the other day, man, his brother, David Carr was a good quarterback too, man. He just they didn't have no line down there in Houston.
Oh, yeah, they killed him.
Man, they hurt him. But,
I mean, man, you got Andre Johnson out there and Gaffney. You got some boys out there that you can throw that thing up to. Mm-hmm. So, offensive line, you ain't really need that much. Just throw it up to Andre.
Look, hey, Listen, look, hey, back in the day, all you had to do was blow on the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Now you blow on the quarterback now, hey, you get a flag.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Back then, oh man, you hammerhead, you taking helmet off and hitting him in his ribs, stepping on his leg.
That's another question too, DJ. Do you think you can play in this time of what all these new rules of that now you can't even cut, like if they throw the swing pass out there, you can't go out there and cut block a lineman or anybody.
Oh man, that's gonna mess up. That's gonna mess my whole game up. I mean, you know what? Now, the good thing about professional players, we know how to adapt, and you have to figure that out. But they are making it hard for defensive guys because, man, somebody showed me a highlight of my plays a couple years ago, and I'm looking at the plays. I'm like, half of those hits, those are flags. They ain't even, they taking them back just because I'm leading with the head or I'm hitting somebody in the head. It's just, what it is. It's not dirty hits. It's just, they're violent. But nowadays you can't do it.
That's why I told somebody, I was like, man, DJ is like a bullet. Yeah, he shoots gaps and when he has a target, he goes for it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Man, DJ, that's funny. You said it earlier about you, man. You didn't use your hands of like the first 2 years. Mm-hmm. So you used to come in, man, shoulder and all that. I remember that. I used to come in.
And going against the line that y'all had, man, the Hall of Fame line with B. Waters and all y'all guys, Will Shields, Willie Rope, y'all come out there and I'm coming, somebody pull, I'm trying to do that. They're like, what are you doing? Like,
give you a nice little hug. Wouldn't they just give you a hug?
I made it so easy for them. And then it's like, all right, now you got to use your hand. You got button press. You got to see the play before it happens, all that stuff. So that really helped me early in my career. Cause we never quite had a line like that after that broke up. And those, when I was there, 05, 06, I think, who left for the last one, B. Waters was there until 08.
B was the last one to leave, for that line. He was the last one. Mm-hmm.
Or 09 he left because
09 he left. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're on to predictions.
Yeah, prediction time. So the Chiefs are currently a 6.5-point favorite against the Chargers. So what is your predicted score, and who do you have winning this game?
Well, I definitely have the Chiefs winning this game, bouncing back this week. I'm really looking for them to, blow up the scoreboard. I'm saying, 30 to 35 points, and hopefully hold them to 20 points. But it's going to be a game where we're going to start fast and finish even faster. We'll definitely bounce back against the Chargers, I believe.
So your prediction is 35-20?
35-20, yeah. I think I'm beating them pretty good.
Beat the brakes off of them. A good victory Monday.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 30-24. I got Chiefs 30-24. And I think we do a good job at shutting down the run.
30-24. I'm gonna go 34-24. That's where I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah. 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals. I think we'll get there. We'll get there. They'll beat them by 10.
Yeah. Well, I think because we talked about it previously, but Herbert's first start was against the Chiefs, and that was the unexpected start because it was
a good game too.
He came out. He balled out that game. And as far as now I've seen some people saying, "Oh, Herbert stuck with the Chiefs last year when he played with them his first game, and now he's got a year under his belt. He's going to finally play against them." But when you played him last, there was no tape on him. That obviously,
that's unfamiliar. You have no idea what you're preparing for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's big time. Yep. So they got film on him now. He's a young guy. He's still learning, but we got film on him, and he's going to have to respond to that film because last time he caught us off guard, and I think he did a really good job the first time he played.
He's a good talent.
Yeah. Should he threw for 338 last week?
And Keenan Allen's a good receiver, so I take that from him. But I just think this is the week that we bounce back, especially after a loss, after all the criticism. This would be the perfect time to go out and put a spanking on somebody.
Yeah, that crowd's going to get out to the quarterback too. I just think Chris Jones and those guys going to get out to the quarterback, and you have to because Keenan Allen. Not many people can cover him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So y'all think Juan Thornhill's gonna get some action?
I think he should. I mean, he's a young, really good player. I think that they'll find a way to switch him in and out with these.
That's right.
Now you don't play base defense no more. You play this hybrid stuff with nickel and dime, and you're switching guys out. So there's plenty of opportunities for him to get in.
Yeah.
He got 13 snaps last week, so
needs a little bit more.
Yeah, warranted to probably get in. I think they'll switch Chris Tui inside and out. I think they'll move him this week also.
Because I think they kind of exposed them a little bit on the outside as far as that, that Ravens offense. But if you don't do that offense, I don't know if you're going to expose him as much, but he can play all over those lines. They need to move him around a little bit because he makes his money. He got paid at 3 technique.
True.
Yeah.
Herbert's not a Lamar Jackson at all, but he can scramble. He can make some plays. Got a good arm. So I mean, our thing right now is just slowing down the running back and taking care of the back end with the secondary. I think with Tyrann Mathieu, him coming back, getting a game under his belt, secondary would be way better than they were against Baltimore. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think also with the Chargers too, just they don't have a kind of like a bell cow running back. Austin Eckler's a great receiver out of the backfield, but he's not really a between the tackles kind of guy. They don't really give him the ball that much as far as carries wise. And they have a bunch of young guys who really haven't taken the role yet. So I don't think that they don't have an established run game like the Ravens or the Browns do. I think we saw the best of the best the last 2 weeks, and everybody else is below that now.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you, DJ, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I thought I was going to be on here for like 30, 40 minutes.
Hell, I did too.
Hey, you know what? But I'm good, though. I did everything early with the kiddos, so the little ones, wifey just putting the baby down. So I'm good, actually. So I ain't going to get fussed at tonight. I'm good.
Holler at it. My brother, good seeing you, DJ, for sure, man.
You, man,
for
always,
sure.
bro.
All right?
You going to the alumni game?
I'm not sure yet. It's on a Monday, though, huh?
Yeah, it's the Monday Night Giants game.
I might.
Dude, you literally just said you retired. You ain't got nothing to do.
Got kids, man. You got kids, man.
But I'm gonna be there that weekend for sure because I got a little signing and stuff I gotta do. So I'll be there that weekend for sure. But I'm still contemplating on the game.
All right.
Yeah. But we'll hook up. We'll hook up.
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother, man. Be good, man. Love you, man. Good, DJ.
You too, man. I'll take it easy. All right, Marcus.
Exciting news. Our podcast is partnering with playactionpools.com this season to bring some interactive fun to the sport we love most. You'll be able to get in on the action with our playactionpools.com football pick'em challenge, which is open to everyone. Here's how it works. Sign up for our contest, Believe Football Pick'em, at playactionpools.com, and then get your picks in each week. We're going to select the 10 highest profile games of the week between NFL and college football. Whoever gets the most picks correct each week will win a pair of electric sunglasses and a pair of DC shoes. Again, go to playactionpools.com and sign up for the contest. Believe, BLEAV, Football Pick'em. And if you plan on hosting your own football contests, go to playactionpools.com. They've got Survivor, Pick'em, as well as cool sportsbook style concept called Build Your Bankroll. Playactionpools.com, your new home for all your office sports pools. And I got to tell you, their interface is fantastic.
Maz, did you play with Hasty?
Yes, back. I think my first year was maybe his last year, James.
I think it was. I remember Maz there. Yeah.
Yeah. I learned quickly about holding court in the locker room. Luckily, it was never put up on the table. I didn't do anything too offensive to get myself up on the table.
Oh, man, you can't expose me like that, man. Come on.
Oh, that was a locker secret. My bad.
But hey,
just trying to keep my head down and keep it straight. You know what I mean?
But Hasty went to bat for us, though.
He did.
You know, we were at training camp. We were grinding through 2 days. And Hasty was like, "This bullshit."
Hey, I don't know what's going on. These dudes don't bang no more. I'm like, what the heck, man? I had to go to a protest about banging back in the day. Now these guys don't even put on pads, E. What the heck, man?
Hey, they can't even do two-a-days nowadays.
I know, it's crazy, man. I'm like, what? They don't put on pads anymore? Crazy.
Hey, now listen, I said, man, my rookie year when I was in Philly, I caught a ball over the middle in practice, man, and I had the safeties light me up. They took my head off in practice. Like it wasn't nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
so,
now you can't touch a guy. You can't touch him.
It's a different sport nowadays, man.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and it's so too.
Yep.
But you know, the thing is, like, I still enjoy it. I still love it. I understand what they're doing to protect, the players from certain injuries, post injuries, that go into retirement. And we got some players that we played with that are mentally jacked up, dude. I'm talking about really bad. And so there's a lot of guys that are messed up physically, but the toll it took on some of these guys mentally, man, it's gotten the best of them.
No doubt.
Hey, by no means do I condone what we were doing back in those days. Let me just be clear. Knowing what we know now and the amount of mental damage that we caused to each other, man, it's I don't want that. I wish that on anyone, seriously. So I jokingly say those things, man, but I really don't want these guys to get hurt at all. I really don't. I mean, because we all know the long-term effects that we're going to be dealing with, and others have dealt with as well.
Yeah, we complain about how they make it an offensive game, and yet that's basically what it's come down to. And they strip us from doing so much defensively, targeting and hitting below the waist, and you can barely breathe on a quarterback nowadays. Receivers can run across the middle and catch a ball without worried about getting their head, taken off. It's come down to all that. But again, I mean, I 100% understand the reason for doing so.
Yeah, we don't want to continue to hear stories like the ones we've heard, man. It's just, we've heard enough. We want the game to be safer and fun for everyone, man. That's really what we want. A better game, a safer game.
Yeah.
Definitely. And hopefully the players have a better life beyond football. I mean, I know we see our teammates and some of the things that are going on, and hopefully that number reduces significantly. Obviously, it's still a physical game and it's violent, but hopefully there's a longer, better life for every player, or majority, or at least more players than we're seeing come out of our era.
I agree.
Well, let's not underestimate the value of good coaching. So, I mean, all that plays a part in it as well.
No doubt.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't teach hat and hands anymore, do they? You got to strike them with your hat and hands and half line drill and all that stuff.
No, I don't think they're teaching that, man.
Well, for y'all don't know, my whole career was basically started and prolonged because of James Hasty. And so he was my mentor. Now, going into Kansas City, James was like a linebacker, biggest dude I ever seen to play corner, and was a straight up asshole to everybody, players and coaches. James Hasty was 100% business. I'm talking about he cared about the money, but he didn't care about the life that it brought. I think Hasty, you still had your same car from college?
No, man, not at all. E, you know better than that. Now, I was extremely cheap, though, E. I was extremely cheap, though. Let's keep that real.
Huh?
I was extremely cheap, though. Let's keep that real. I was saving them coins now.
I could have sworn somebody. You had the Pathfinder. I thought you had the Pathfinder. I thought I could have sworn Mighty Mouse told me, man, Jay Hasty still got the same car from college.
Don't listen to Mac, man. Don't listen to him. No, man, but I truly enjoyed the time, man. It was a blast. I remember that last season after we had that devastating loss, man. And I don't know if you remember, E, but I was getting shot up in my toe every game for like 8 or 9 games. And, man, I had reached my end, man. And along with DT's passing, I get a call from Carl Peterson and Dick Vermeil, and they're like, hey, we want you to, consider taking a pay cut. I said, Carl, you know what, man? I'm done. He's like, what do you mean? I said, oh man, I'm retiring, man. I'm done playing. And Dick Vermeil, and I could hear them kind of pause and say, oh, are you sure? I was like, man, absolutely. And that's how I left the game, because I knew what was ahead, which was, a bunch of losing. And I just, we had went through a lot, man, in those years in the 90s, man.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of wins and losses. And it just took a toll. And I was like, man, I can see this being another very difficult rebuild year. And I was just done, I was just done, man. I had enough. And that's how I left the game. And then, of course, I got a call from Rich Gannon and John Gruden during my little retirement, during that time off the following year. And they said, hey, man, you want to come play for us? And, you'll be out there in the nickel package. I said, oh, man, absolutely. I'm going to get the signing bonus? No. Okay, I'm good. Oh, okay. About a month later, I get a call. They're like, hey, man, we really want you to come out and, play for us, man. I said, okay, man, you going to give me a signing bonus? Absolutely. All right, I'll be down there. So I get down there, man. It was a zoo with the Raiders, man. It was chaos. I really learned to appreciate the Chief organization for what it was, like first class. Because, man, it was the prisoners running the prison down there.
Dang.
My first day, I walk into the lobby, and there's a drunk dude on the couch in the lobby. I said, who is the drunk dude on the couch in the lobby? Out walks Gruden to introduce himself to me, to welcome me into the program, into the team. And the drunk dude wakes up. And he speaks to the drunk dude. I was like, what? It was Janikowski.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That was my introduction to the Oakland Raiders, man. I was there all of 2 weeks, and I was on the first plane back home.
Dang. God, dog.
But, hey, so I can see Janikowski being that guy, though. I can see Janikowski being that guy.
Oh,
he wanted to come out there and be drunk.
Man, the players telling the coaches to shut the hell up in the meetings. I'm just like, oh, no, man. What are we doing? Yeah, and then, they tried to treat me like a rookie. When I walked up in there, I took a seat. Oh, hey, man, you in the wrong seat. I said, man, if y'all don't get up out of here with that mess, man, I'm not getting up out this seat for nobody. I've been playing way too long. I'm not getting up out this seat. It caused a major problem.
Wow.
We just didn't operate like that, man, in Kansas City. So I really appreciate it after that experience, man, of my time in Kansas City, how much I missed y'all, man. It was really something I really enjoyed, man, in my life.
Yeah, buddy. What was one of the most memorable things you had playing with moments with DT?
Man, it wasn't really. It was the moment. I think we were playing the Raiders on our Sunday night, man, and when DT got that corner going, he could turn that corner, man, on a dime. I remember him putting his hands up over his head to form a safety symbol, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you gonna get there. I know, sure you will, man. He came off that corner so fast, man, and turned it and swatted that ball out of, I think it was Jeff George, I believe it was, and caused that fumble, man. It was an incredible play to see, develop that he was essentially calling it out before it happened, man. And I just thought that was a phenomenal. And of course, they knew he was coming, so they were turning their protection in that direction, and they still weren't able to block him. And it was just a phenomenal opportunity to be on the field with a guy like that.
Yeah, DT was a real deal, man. He wasn't a big dude either, though.
No, it wasn't a big dude, man, but I mean, just really humble, man, just that well-grounded kind of dude, man, that you don't come across too often. So that really, really took a toll on me wanting to continue to play, man. I couldn't do it much longer afterwards.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to play with him, and coming in and being in college and watching all the guys in the league play and looking up to, DT and Lawrence Taylor and guys like that, Singletary. And here I am in the locker room with him. And I mean, he welcomed me like I was one of the guys immediately. And it completely shocked me. I mean, it was an awesome experience to be a part of the team at that point. And that was, objective one for me was the long road of trying to get to the league, but then getting there and being welcomed in and part of the team and part of the group, and the leadership and professionalism that not everyone in the locker room showed, but you could pick out the guys like James and DT and Marcus Patton and just guy after guy after guy. It's like it was easy to identify who are the guys you wanted to try and emulate and pattern my career after. James, I appreciate what you did for me as a young guy coming in, learning the ropes and just being excited at the opportunity, and then to try and make more of it. So it was
man, it was truly a brotherhood that I felt, man, amongst all of us, man. And it was, everybody wanting to pull the best out of each other, right? I mean, I wanted I wanted him to be a great corner. You know what I mean? I didn't have this jealousy or envy in me because I played. I didn't want to see him succeed. I genuinely wanted, all of my brothers on my team, man, to get a taste of success, and that's what we're all trying to achieve, and because we all have families, right? And so, for me, man, that was the torch was passed to me when I came into the league, and I was treated that way by many guys like Kevin McArthur and Alex Gordon and guys I played with in New York, but kind of taught me, man, that we can be a brotherhood without all the jealousy and envy and all that stuff that comes along with playing professional sports. So I was just trying to pass on to other guys what I received.
100%. And that's what I tell, man. Like, I had a great core of guys. And so, you had James, the technician, big as a house, muscular guy, very smart, knows the game inside and out. Mighty Mouse, undersized, quick, had to use his speed and quickness, and you weren't gonna run short routes on Mark.
No.
He's gonna jump those.
Oh, so, man. Okay.
Dale Carter, just pandemonium in one little athlete. Just Dale can give you 100 miles an hour on 1 hour of sleep, and I don't know how he does that. But that's the energy he brings to the game. And so, for me to learn from those three guys, I couldn't have learned from three better guys, because I had never played corner in my life. I played safety. I've told the story many times. And so I had to learn from three different guys. And everything that I did movement-wise was exactly like Hasty. I tried to hold my stance like Hasty. My hands, my step foot when I come out of my stance at corner. So I try to emulate everything that I did with Hasty, because I knew I wasn't a corner. And so, it was difficult for me throughout the years to try to put it all together and make it work to where it was 100% accepted, because I got a lot of shit taken throughout some of the years in Kansas City because of our secondary. Once I got that big contract, all the just call it what it was, all the shit came to me. Eric this, Eric that. And, we weren't a good defense. We had a good offense, and our defense didn't complement the offense that we had. And for whatever bad that came with that, that team, it was mainly my name that was associated with the defense. So that was kind of tough for me. And so that little conversation that we had with DJ earlier, that's why I said, we didn't have social media back then, but we had newspaper, Jason Whitlock and Adam Teicher. So, those guys are right any and everything they want, and just say some of the most negative things about the team, when yet we're still trying to build. And we brought in, Gunther's a first-year coach, never been a head coach in his life, and it didn't work, for him as a head coach. Rest in peace to Gunther Cunningham. Then we get Coach Jamil, and it took Coach Jamil. Coach Jamil told us coming in, he had a 5-year plan. It's going to take him 5 years. But within that 5 years, he's going to get us there. And he built the team up to where 5 years, we were a really good team. And again, not to just mention you into it, Maz, we were on a defense that just couldn't keep up with what the offense was doing.
Yep.
For whatever reason, we didn't complement the offense.
Yep.
And so a lot of that flack, came. I took a lot of heat, man, and a lot of people just
you were the easy scapegoat on every bit.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate because you did great. I mean, you were a great player, and you took a lot of heat for things that you couldn't control. I mean, you were stuck out there playing man-to-man the entire game, all day, every day. We
would go a man zone.
We were playing zone with you playing man.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't changing. And there was strategy behind it, but like you said, the scheme didn't match with the personnel and then how the offense was set up. I mean, they'd score in 30 seconds and we're throwing back. They were trying to figure out a way. So it was tough.
But it was fun, man. I loved every second of it. It was tough at moments to read some of it and hear some of the stuff, but I loved every second of the brotherhood and the camaraderie that I got there at KC.
So let me interject a little bit here then. So I'm going to give you the scope of like playing against Kansas City, because I remember they came up there in '97 when I was up in Philly, and I remember the names. And I know you said the defense wasn't really, but to us, like you see Hasty on the side, Dale Carter, right? Reggie Tongue, you know what I'm saying? Romy, we're talking about Marcus Patton. I mean, we're talking about guys, DT, Neil Smith, right? I mean, we were seeing guys on the other side that you still had this aura of who you all were. I mean, it was still like that Kansas City defense that you always still had to worry about, right? And we knew like DT was coming off that edge, and I had to block DT. And so, he wasn't a big guy, but when Hasty talks about turning that corner, there weren't too many guys that could do things like he did. They just didn't have it in him. He was just a different type of guy, especially, blocking against it. And then like when I came out to Kansas City, you was talking about, see, Gunn brought me in. And so what Gunn brought to the team as the head coach, I seen it kind of with y'all defense. You know what I'm saying? He had that gruff, that grime, that grit about him. And that's what I love Gunn a lot, when he came out there and he brought me out there to Kansas City. And I know Hasty was just talking about like the time that we had to deal with, getting Gunn. And, we could talk about those things all day, how after he left, Coach Jamil came in, that whole segment, how that was just crazy, how that all happened. But Coach Jamil taking that team, and like he was just talking about, we was listening to him earlier on the last segment, but he was just talking about all the guys, how he still wanted that family atmosphere with people. All the guys would get together and come to his house and, kind of talk and, have dinner and things like that. So to me, the family atmosphere, leaving from like Philadelphia, which it was kind of like broken, coming out to Kansas City, it was more so that professionalism, family atmosphere that I got in Kansas City that I didn't quite have in Philadelphia. And that I got at the very tail end when Andy came in. Andy kind of changed that whole culture around too when he got to Philadelphia and then brought it out here to Kansas City. But, the testament of just like knowing these guys, that I'm just looking at Mass and, Hasty and E. I see E every week, man. It's a good feeling just to, see these guys and hate to hear these guys. Hasty, man, I ain't talked to you, I don't think, since you left Kansas City. You know what I'm saying?
It's been years, right? It's been a long time.
Man, years, brother.
It's good to hear you too, bro. It's real good to hear you.
Absolutely. So we talking about, was that 2001, right? That's 20 years.
Yeah. It's a long time.
Long time.
But I will say this though, I didn't really follow the Chiefs after I left, but I did have total confidence in you guys, man, in terms of the young core group of you guys and what was ahead for you guys. And so I didn't feel like I was doing something that was totally selfish. As far as the cupboard being bare in Kansas City, I felt like you guys definitely could handle it. Now, I will tell you this, E, my whole reasoning for leaving New York when I finally had the opportunity and coming to Kansas City was because I finally had a corner on the other side with Dale Carter, right? And unfortunately for you, when you were given that big payday, you didn't have that other corner, and you really in that system, you really got to have two good corners, or it don't work. You can't do a whole box and one type of concept, right? It ain't fair to you, right? And so realistically, they needed to have another dog on the other side, man, because I have me a dog on the other side in that Dale Carter now. I don't care what anybody says.
Dale was a dog, 100%.
I mean, I've never seen a corner run across the line of scrimmage and drop a guy before he gets out of his stance, out of his break. You couldn't get off the line of scrimmage on Dale Carter. If he didn't want you to get off the line, you would not get off the line. Just that simple, because his strength, his length, and his speed and range. I mean, he was so gifted. Now, Dale would break down and make some mental errors and some mental mistakes in some situations. Absolutely, that was going to happen sometimes. But I would take those few mistakes than anything else when it came to Dale Carter, because he was a top class. I consider somebody to be in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely.
I agree. You know, the problem is, and I will never sit up and say any of my teammates weren't good or weren't worthy. The only problem I had with Barty was mentally, Barty could not get it. Physically,
I forgot about Barty. Yeah, Barty was your second-round pick, right?
Yes, Barty had every tool that he needed in that toolbox. He just couldn't put it together mentally on the field, confidence-wise. You know, he came in the same guy. He played safety, and they tried to convert him to a corner. Barty was faster than me, quicker than me, and more gifted. But when it came to it, mentally, he just couldn't put it all together on the field to make it work for him. And, man, it's just like, you know, it was just way too much heat for him to eventually hold on to it. That's we played Tennessee, and the game was so bad to where he came to me in the third quarter and asked me to have Peter take him out. He said he just
take him out
to take him out of the game because he couldn't do it. And it was mainly because there was so much write-up about him, and I was getting it also throughout majority of the season. And he was having a bad game. You know, I don't know. I think his name was Bennett, the wide receiver at Tennessee, was balling.
Drew Bennett.
Yeah, he caught a couple on me. But I wasn't going to let it hold me down. But mentally, Barty just couldn't come back, couldn't bounce back. And, he came and asked me if I could have Peter take him out of the game because he just couldn't do it. And I talked him through it. And after that, you know, Dexter cim in and Dexter held it. Dexter didn't have the size and the speed, but Dexter was a good cornerstone for us to put over there. Yeah, it was still tough, man.
Were you guys still playing the same type of scheme, or was it altogether different?
No, I had
for the majority of the time when you left, majority of the time I was in Kansas City, I played man defense, lock man. It was my choice whether I played off or press. And so, but it was always E. You play press. And then we got Jared. We got Jared Allen in. Jared is a freaking monster out there balling. And so we got a defense designed to where I'm dropping back in quarters. Jared is our best rush man, but he's dropping back as the underneath guy. So I'm like, makes sense to this, but I don't know.
But Hasty, the thing is, we were playing a zone concept. It was quarter, half, but Warfield was locked up man.
Yeah.
We had to take the wide out. Everyone else is playing zone everywhere else. And I mean, it was impossible. We were running.
I never liked the scheme like that because I'd rather an offense when they line up, they see two corners and they don't have a clear, definitive decision on who they're going to go after. So I used to tell Dale, hey, man, you do the same thing that I do. If I'm going to be at 4 yards off, you be at 4 yards off. If I'm going to be up, you be up. Because I don't want it to be so definitive when he comes up to do his pre-snap on who he's going after. It's too easy. That's too easy to game plan.
Yeah. But our thing was, I mean, well, we had a couple of years. We were like rush defense. We weren't doing all that great. But again, I will never throw my guys under the bus and say who did what, who didn't do something. It was just an overall team thing to where, again, we just didn't complement our offense. And we had really good offense.
Yeah, we did. That
Well,
offense.
I can be critical and say that I thought Greg Robinson's schemes were trash.
There you go.
let me just put it out there since y'all don't want to say it. I watched it and I wanted to run out there and punch him in the head.
I feel like I'm up on
that. The guy was horrible. He's horrible, man.
Tell the truth, Hayes. Tell us how you really feel.
Greg Robinson is listening, man. You're horrible. And I just got to keep it 100, man. That's it.
Right. It's best
trash.
Yeah.
I don't know how the guy coached as long as he did. I just don't even know.
He got that Super Bowl at Denver, man.
And you know what? And he had number 7 under center. Okay?
And 30.
We all know what number 7 was able to do.
Sure.
So what we think about the new team? What's going on with the new defense?
Oh man, Dub. Is it too early to tell what you think, man? I'm happy right now with the defense, with the exception of some corner play right now. Can we cover out there? Or what's going on?
I mean, I think Ward is probably struggling a bit, and I thought he'd be our better corner because he had the most experience from last year. But hey, I can't. What's 21's name?
Mike Hughes.
That's the problem. Yeah. That's the problem. What's 21's name?
Hughes, man. He can't. The guy from Minnesota. Hughes is playing well. Snead is playing well. I like when Thornhill comes in, and I'm a fan of Sorensen. So I hate that everybody's harping on him so much about last week.
Why don't people like Sorensen, man?
They just think he's not a good playmaker. He doesn't make the tackles. He's not the playmaker that we need him to be. So I mean, it's just all a lot of bad talk after the Baltimore game, but you expect that after a loss.
We all know you got to rush the passer. If you're going to let the quarterback sit back there comfortably, you can't cover that long. So I think that's where the bigger concern lies right now is, I mean, Chris Jones is a beast. There's no question about that.
So are you a fan of Chris Jones at the defensive end, Mass?
Not really. Only because
I'm not a fan of Chris Jones at the DN spot.
He's so dominant inside when he wants to.
Yeah.
To put him out there and he makes a play here and there, but man, he just dominates inside, and that's right in the face of a quarterback. So
sure.
I'd prefer him in there. I know why he wants to be outside, but I wonder if there's going to be guys that kind of start to show up and start making plays, because that's where it feels like they're not getting the production they need to help the secondary and not having to cover that additional half second. And so will those guys show up? Will they come through? I mean, we saw it on the Super Bowl run that the defense turned it on and they built into something. They didn't start out great, but they built into it. So there's definitely, I would say, optimism that that'll happen. And I think coaching staff is obviously elite in the level to get them there. So it's just a matter of time and talent if they can do it.
What are your thoughts on Nick Bolton?
I don't know enough about him, quite honestly. I know he's young, very talented, very athletic. And, it takes some time to understand the speed of the game and the different style. But he definitely has all the tools. There's no question. It's a matter of, getting a full grasp of the scheme and then, feeling comfortable enough to take some chances at times where it's the right time to do it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, he's the more, what am I saying? he's the playmaker of the linebacker corps. You know, for his youth, he's the one that's in the backfield, you know, trying to making the plays. And he's, to me, he's reading the plays quicker than Hitchens and Neiman. Now, take nothing from those guys. I think Hitchens is a pretty decent linebacker, but he doesn't get to the ball and make the play as quick and impactful as Bolton. Now, Bolton is young. Yeah, he's got some learning to do, but his impact is more prominent than what those other two guys are. It looks like they're just a tad bit behind to where the offensive linemen are getting on them quicker than what they do with Bolton.
Well, I told you that though, Ed, the last two games that they played, it was a great offensive scheme on Cleveland and the Ravens' part because they did a lot of misdirection. And so when you have a young linebacker like Bolton, you know, you get him where he overcommits, and he was falling for a lot of that. And we were just talking to Derrick, and he was just saying, like, you know, you got to play with your eyes as a linebacker, right? You know, it's massive. When you playing your eyes, you got to see the whole play when it comes and develops, right? Yep. I mean, if you buy it on the first thing, I mean, then you're out of position. And so, you know, of course, as lineman, you just want to get your hands on the guy, get up to the second level. And so, I mean, you just seen a lot of that, man. This last game was really compelling to actually see how the offensive line was able to kind of dominate the defensive line and get to the second level. And so Bolton was just a little bit behind because misdirecting him the whole time, right? And so he just like his little puppy dog. Let me send him over here, right? Let me give you this little this thing over right here in your eyes. And he was falling for it. But as far as like his skill set, he has a skill set. And the reason we took him that early is because he could cover tight ends and wide receivers, you know, at linebacker and do a great job with it. I mean, I've seen him just playing up in the SEC, you know, how good he was at doing those things. And I know you were just talking about like Chris Jones, like Chris, keeping him on the outside, absolutely, it devastates your defense because where he was dominant on the inside, double teaming guys, then the linebackers, if he takes two, then all of a sudden the linebackers can make the plays like they need to, right? I mean, you don't ever want a defensive tackle in your lap, Maz, you know what I'm saying? That's right. As a Mike. So you've seen a lot of that, man, this last week and the week before that was really kind of destroying the defense. So I think we talked about, like, you know, Chris kind of moving back inside and then, you know, move him outside on pass plays if you need to, right? When you know it's a full, true passing down, then put him out there to dominate the tackle. But, you know, if you take away his strength and just, you know, put him out there the whole time, then you take it away from the defensive line.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the linebacking core is, you know, they have a lot of potential, and especially Bolton coming in and adding into the mix. But he gets a couple bad reads. Now he's going to start second guessing himself. Well, should I go this time? So those growing pains through each game, through each learning opportunity, I think will help by mid to end season where he's really in true form in his own ability, his own confidence. I mean, Eric, you talked about that with William Barty in building that confidence in that read and recognition is actually right. And from when that point happens, now his full athleticism is really going to show. So the sooner he can get comfortable with being confident in his right read and his right reaction and his correct instinct, then he can be the guy that they drafted him to be, which will be huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about believe what you see. And so when I texted Buddha Baker the other day, I coached Buddha in high school, and I coached Miles Jack in high school, and I still talk to these guys, you know, to this day. And to your point, man, it's about what do you see, and believe what you see, and use those instincts, you know, to go make a play. But when you start to second guess, man, that's all they need is that little hesitancy. You know what I mean? And then they've got you essentially. So. Yeah, man, that believe what you see concept is vitally important. Absolutely.
So is it y'all panicking now for the squad, or y'all think it can be fixed in a short period?
I mean, the offense is sitting over there. They can score at will. So I don't.
Hey, I mean, I'm going to tell you what, man, that offense is something else.
It's unbelievable.
Man, I get excited just watching the offense. I want to be out there. I want to run out there on the defense just because I'm watching the offense.
Have you ever seen a safety open and bail like they do when they're lined up over the top of Tyreek? It is insane. I mean, he steps off the line, and the safety has opened his hips and running.
Yeah, ain't no back.
I don't even know why they're playing games with number 10.
That dude is unreal.
Yes, he is.
I've not seen anyone that fast. James, you played forever.
I've seen some guys, but nobody, I can't imagine. He doesn't. Does he have a track and field background? Or I know he's wanted to race Usain Bolt and all this, but man, he's a great athlete.
Yeah, he ran track in all season.
Okay.
Yeah, he ran track in all season.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, he gets on you quick.
Who was the wide out for the Raiders? They just sent on a go route in the middle seam. James Jet. Was it Jet? Yeah, Jet. That's
but you know what, you could get your hand right up around his throat, okay, and strangle him all the way out of bounds, okay. You're not doing that with Tyreek Hill.
No.
Oh, you're not doing that with Tyreek Hill. You have a problem.
No.
I agree. He's got good wiggle at the line of scrimmage. And that's the thing. Like a lot of those fast guys, they just want to go out there and just run. So they have no movement off the line. If you can't get a corner on his heels at the line of scrimmage, you done.
He's made more corners look slow than any player has ever in the league. I mean, he blows by people like they're standing still.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
And the worst is you put him in a slot because you got that two-way go. When you get that kind of speed, he's got that two-way go. Man, if you're not in a trail technique, somebody over top, you just out there, you a practice squad player at that point.
It feels like it's just a read at the top of the route, too. Like he gets there, he goes whichever way he wants, and Mahomes chucks it. And
I'm going to tell you what, man. If I could just have Mahomes for like one quarter, just play with me for one quarter. Let me go play defense with you when you go play offense for one quarter, E. Man, that boy is so talented. It's not even funny.
It is, man. He's definitely one of a kind.
And now they got a decent offensive line. I'm happy for him,
Yeah. They're going to get better. They're going to get better though too, man. That offensive line. We just talking about kind of the running game, right? Like the running game is almost non-existent. Passing game looks phenomenal, but that running game still needs, still catch up, man. Because we know, look, if you don't have that running game, and I'm gonna tell you this, to me personally, in the Super Bowl last year, that running game, we were so good at passing against guys, like you said, to just score that wheel. Well, all Tampa wanted to do was just take it away from you. Look, let them beat us in the run. Let them run the football. And so all of a sudden we just didn't run it. We didn't run it like we should have. And it bit us. It bit us in the tail, big time.
Yeah, we definitely have to have some commitment to the run game for sure. But we can't put it on the ground either.
Well, there you go. There you go. The one thing that kind of shocks me with the free agency stuff is that to have a special talent like Mahomes, I don't understand why a lot of, big name guys don't want to take less, kind of like they do in basketball and other teams, like to take less to come be a part of something special to try to win that ring. It seems like everybody's wanting to go elsewhere to try to beat him. Because we don't have like a lot of we don't have big free agencies that come over here, that want to be a part of the Chiefs, unless we just not as a front office don't pursue them. But we don't have like the big name guys that want to come in. And so, like, we have what we have offensively, and we're set. We're good. I'm great in what we have offensively with Kelce and Hill. I don't think we need to add anybody else. If we get anybody else, throw it on the offensive line. But I just, as far as a defense, I would take less to come out. If I've already established myself, made a great career, 10 years, like a J.J. Watt, I would definitely go to a Kansas City squad. They need me. I can be a big use. They're the favorites to get to the Super Bowl this year. I'm going to an NFC team that has got to get past Tampa, yet alone try to prove themselves. So I just don't understand like why these guys want to go elsewhere to try to take out Mahomes instead of wanting to be a part of what he's doing in Kansas City.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what the reason or behind it. Offensively, I mean, you can understand maybe with the wideout concern that there's not enough balls to go around. But on the defensive side, I agree. I don't get what was more appealing for Watt in that situation with Arizona than here.
What about money? That's a big, hey. So
definitely.
Right. So if guys are sitting at the end of their career, like, listen, wait a minute, hold on. Like I get trying to win a championship, JJ Watt, we don't know what the negotiations was as far as contractual, right?
Right.
But, they could have easily been giving him like another $5 million less. Sometimes it seems teams are downplay you. Like, look, this is what you did, or this is what you haven't done in the last 2 years. So that's all just a bargaining tool. But yeah, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it's just like Tampa. Tampa keeps all 22 starters. Everybody's back. And some of those guys took pay cuts not to go anywhere else, just to play with Tom. And so, we're talking about somebody who's been in the league for this amount of time as opposed to Patrick and maybe the defense. So maybe it might be in your decision too, right? Like Tom Brady, like, look, here he's got this many Super Bowl rings. He's bringing guys in, Antonio Brown, brings Gronk with him, so he's like, when he's going, he's building his team around him, right? He's like the chess master. He's bringing the pieces in like he wants to. Can Pat come and talk to J.J. Watt and bring him in? That's the question. Can he do that? Is that who's going to be the negotiating guy going to go get? Is it going to be Pat? Is it going to be Matt?
Because right now we've already made our mind up that Pat is our ticket. He's got, like we call him the Brinks truck. He's got all the money. So we can't really afford to just like go out and bring all the pieces that we need for the defense because of the, cap and what money that we do have.
Right.
So I as a vet, 10 years in, still got a, couple good years left in me. I would think to myself, if I don't have a ring, I could get a ring going to a team like Kansas City, bringing whatever that I could bring to the table. And I just don't understand, like, how we miss on certain guys or those guys don't want to come here.
Yeah, I was reading yesterday.
No, I agree wholeheartedly, man. At the end of the day, with what they're doing on the offensive side, if you look at apples to apples comparison with Arizona, it's a no-brainer, right? Going to Kansas City is clearly the choice to make because what this guy's done. His body of work has already been on display in the big games. We have yet to see what Kyler Murray can do in those big games. So, I'm with you. I'm like, it would have made good sense to take a long look at Kansas City, man. And at this point, financially, it can't really be about money because he's made a bulk of his money already, right? He's been a player of the year. He's got all the money that he can make as far as his max. So right now, it's just about chasing that ring. And I agree as well. Like, man, Kansas City was a clear decision for me if I'm J.J. Watt.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't know what he's seen, man. I mean, and Arizona's a good team. I'm not taking away from them. They got a squad over there too, right? They do. So, Arizona, Kansas City. I don't know.
Now like I do. Now y'all know like I do. When them close games, when you get in those close games, and you start to look to the sideline, what packages are coming in, and you start saying, "Man, what are we doing?" Or we're in the field and we're going, "Man, get the play in. What's the call?" That's when you start to see whether or not the coaches know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tend to say that Andy Reid probably has a better grasp of what's going on in big game situations than Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh, no doubt. I agree with you 100% on that.
You know what I'm saying? That's a deciding factor for me right there.
Right. Good point. That's a really good point.
You know, I kind of posted on Twitter like one of the best things I saw in the loss that we had to Baltimore was that last possession for Baltimore. Harbaugh asked Lamar Jackson, "Do you want to go for it?" You know, that's a win or lose situation. They're already in field goal position if you don't make that, but you go to your quarterback. You don't question your offensive coordinator or the quarterback coach or your coaching staff. He went right to Lamar and said, "Do you want it? What do you want to do?" And he said he wanted to go, and he put it in Lamar's hands. And a lot of coaches in that situation wouldn't do that.
Let me ask y'all this question. Let me ask y'all this question though. If they ask you, aren't you all to a man gonna say the same thing?
Absolutely.
Every one of us on this phone, on this call, is gonna say either we on defense, run an all-out blitz, we're good, we'll lock them down. Or if you ask them on offense, they're gonna say, "Let's go for it."
100%. But James, you already know.
4th and 17, we're going for it. 4th and 17, we're going for
it. We going for it.
But they're not going to ask us that question. They're going to do that with the staff.
True that. True. Now they'll ask the quarterback, but I just think in any situation, if you're dealing with a guy that's competitive on the pro level and he's worth anything, he's going to always say, "Yeah, let's go for it." That's just a no-brainer.
I know I would have.
Yeah, you know, ain't nobody turning that down.
Of course, man. Of course, let's go for it. You know, I didn't like that decision by him asking him that because you know, in a real live, high intensity type of game, close game, of course, everybody. Hey, I played with a broken arm. You gonna tell me I'm coming out? No, I'm going in. Yep. I mean, all of us are going. Every one of us are going to put it on the line, no matter what. You ain't got to ask us. Yeah. That's a no-brainer. What do you want to do, Coach? That's the question.
It kind of felt like he was trying to pass the buck because he knew.
Absolutely, man. That's what I'm saying. Because all of us are competitors, man. We all gonna say go for it, yeah.
Yeah. He answers to the media. He said, "Well, I asked him. He said yes." So yeah. He was supposed to get it.
I mean, you're gonna get your head wrong, and they're gonna put you right back out there. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Go on out there. You gonna go, man.
That's right.
Come on. It's 4th and 1 though. Yeah, I mean it's 4th and 1. You got your playmaker. You can put who else you gonna give it to, right? Nobody else.
There wasn't a back in the backfield besides him. They had 10 blockers in him.
Yeah.
Right.
Still couldn't get him.
Right.
He's a hell of a
the A gap right here. We running right here for the first down. A gap right here.
A gap.
We didn't stop it. Damn. Where we at?
I was actually looking.
I'm listening.
So who we got this week, man? Who we got?
We got the Chargers.
Got the Chargers. Okay.
I was just telling DJ, like, I used to hate out there just because we used to play on that baseball field.
Ooh, man.
Them and the Raiders.
What's some of y'all memorable games against the Chargers? Mass and Haste?
Well,
oh, man.
My first memorable one was the 4th preseason game. My rookie year. So that was do or die for me. And Natron Means was running the ball to the corner of the end zone, which I got there and pushed him out of bounds. It may have been a half yard short, but I was able to make the play. And obviously knowing that I'm a rookie in the 4th preseason game, I played about 2,000 snaps, it felt like. And it was hotter than hot. So I was able to make, I guess, enough plays to show my worth to make it. But I'm not sure I've ever been that exhausted my entire life. It was a doozy, but that was my first memory. I was actually in San Diego coming out of college my rookie year and got released in camp. So I always had a little bit of incentive to try and stick it to them and do, have a little better game than normal. So I always had a little extra inspiration playing against them.
Hayes?
Yeah, I think for me, man, it was having an opportunity to play against a childhood friend of mine in Eric Metcalf. We played a Sunday night or Monday night game against San Diego, and just have an opportunity to cover him and having grown up with him for all those years, it was we won the game. First of all, let's be clear. I wouldn't have enjoyed it if we didn't win the game, but we won the game. But it was a thrill because I believe defensively we had a touchdown. We scored a couple touchdowns on defense, and I think we scored on our special team play as well. And it ended up turning into a rout, but it really was, I thought like a culmination. That game really culminated in us propelling us to be, I think we went 13-3 that year. But it was those type of games, man, that I really thought were central in getting us going. Whenever your defense can score and then your special teams can score, and obviously, all three phases are actually working. I thought that was one of the more memorable games for me.
Yeah, I don't have like a particular one. I had a couple of interceptions against them, but they just like stand out. So it was more so me getting the opportunity to watch Junior Seau play, and Doug Flutie. I enjoyed watching Junior and him just out there. His play was, to me, similar to Troy Polamalu. Dude just steps in gaps and make plays. And so it was just phenomenal for me to watch him play. I know it was against us, but I was still like amazed at the playmaking ability that he had.
That's good. That's
What was your moment, JD?
Mine, well, I said it earlier, but I was talking about going against Sean Merriman and Sean Phillips, then of course Junior Seau also. But man, just always just playing out there, man, in San Diego was always crazy. It seemed like, they had like I don't know why it just seemed we just didn't get a fair shake, man, in that stadium. To me, it was always like a close game. Yeah. And it was like never a fair shake. It was always something, a call coming here, call coming there. It was just crazy to me. And that was, and matter of fact, that was where Priest had hurt his neck. I remember that game too.
You mean Merriman hurt his neck?
Well, there you go. Yeah, Merriman hurt Priest's neck. Yeah. Jeez.
That was a shot that you remember. Holy, he knocked the living shit out of him.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I won't bring it back.
Was it a run play or a pass play? What kind of play was it?
It was a run play, and Priest was. It wasn't
your block, was it, JD?
It wasn't my block. Yeah, let's make that clear. It wasn't my block. I ain't gonna say who it was, but I seen it happen. Nobody's fault. Priest just cut back. And he thought he had the lane, and Merriman had came off the block. He was backside, and it was just one of those things. When he came back, Priest had cut back and didn't even see him, and it was like, wham! And the shot, oh my gosh! I mean, when he hit him, I mean, you just knew, it was a bad hit. But
that was the second time I've seen Priest hit that hard.
Oh yeah, who was the first?
Merriman would have hit the wall. He wouldn't have, as fast as he was going, he wouldn't have been able to stop until he hit the wall of the stadium.
True.
He was flying.
The first was Greg Wesley at training camp. Dick Emile got pissed.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
That's what they called Priest the ticket.
Priest took his whole G West hit him. Priest took his chin strap off, his helmet. He's like, I'm about to go over here and sit down. I ain't doing this. We ain't doing this. We ain't hitting out here like this.
Coach Emile said, this is the ticket. We don't hit the ticket like that.
Right.
Yeah, that was the second time I saw him hit like that, man. Priest was phenomenal, though. We had some fun squads, man. I had some great times. I've obviously kept in touch with a lot of people that I played with. And I'm very happy to still have been in touch with so many people because, like, they become a special part of my life, man. From the start of, Dale, James, Mark. It's crazy. I still keep in touch with all those guys. I talk to Mark every year. Dale is kind of in and out. But James is out here in Texas now. From the guys that I played with my last career, not my last career, but my last years in Kansas City. So I just love what the game has brought to my life, and to take away some of the ailments as far as mentally and physically. Even now knowing what I do now, I still wouldn't change a bit about it.
I agree with you, E. The game of football has done well for me and my family, and man, I'm forever grateful, man, for the relationships that I've developed over the years, and I pray about it every day, man, that I had that opportunity. So I'm very thankful.
Absolutely. It was a cast of characters throughout the years, and people that I was able to make friendships with and compete with and get to know at a deeper level than just, lining up next to them and caring and battling alongside each other and building trust and camaraderie and everything. And the times off the field were, as meaningful as those on the field. And just to compete at the highest level and know that you got 50 guys that got your back at any moment in any situation is a feeling like no other. So I wouldn't change a thing either.
Yeah, I tell you what, like I said before, just seeing the faces on here and the guys, man, and just talking to them and just the lifelong friends that you just, you acquire during this time. Like you said, the ones that you can trust, put their trust in you, and you know that they have your back, regardless of, what goes on in your lives. And the good thing is, we talk about these guys that's dealing with a lot of, mental issues or physical issues and things like that. This brotherhood gives us kind of like that therapeutic moments with each other where we can, kind of lean on each other, which we should. And I like that because I know E talks about it a lot, but sometimes we miss that aspect when we're kind of getting together about caring for one another like we should. And more guys just reaching out to make sure guys are doing okay, make sure they're doing all right. E has sent out a text message to, I guess one of our feeds about 20 guys and just like, giving each guy, a number just so they can call and just check up on each other. And so, we just continue to do that, man. Get Mass on the show, man. Mass, appreciate it, man. I know, as a family guy, you too, Hayes, man, y'all just coming on here tonight. Man, love you guys for one, but I'm glad y'all was able to come on. Good to always see your faces.
Always.
Yeah.
And Hasty, I know you got a deal that you're dealing with right now with coaches and players, right?
Yeah, we're trying to do something about this hiring stuff, man, with the NFL, and because the only way it's going to get resolved is if some of the players or us get involved with what's going on in this process. If it's left up to the owners, nothing's going to happen. So we can all stop with it's on the owners to do this. They're not going to fix this problem. And so essentially, what I've done is I've come up with a couple ideas I think will work. At least it's better than what we have right now as far as options. It's to develop a database for coaches to go into. So now we can have a place to really find good coaches that many of us haven't even heard of before, right? And then the other one is to actually sit down with the owners and have them tell us, hey, what do you consider important when you identify a head coaching candidate? What are the hiring criteria? And then allow us to go and help them find that candidate that meets those requirements. And a friend of mine that I've been knowing over 30 years is a sociology professor, and he built this sociological tool that basically takes the words of the owners, that what they're seeking in a head coach, and then we can go and find that coach that comes as close as possible to that list of requirements. And now we can combine the database of coaches with the actual words that the owners consider are important when it comes to hiring a coach. We can combine those, and those two tools combined allows us to go and find a good coach. Now, when we bring those coaches to the owners, they don't necessarily have to hire them, but we know that we've gone the extra mile to find a truly good coach. And this is not a race-based thing. This is all about who the best coach is, right? Because we know that at the end of the day, if you put in the work, you should be rewarded. And I've talked to Coach Tony Dungy, and I've talked to EB, and I've talked to Todd Bowles, and I said, man, what do you guys think about this methodology? And they, man, we love it. Why do they love it? Because there's a system in that they essentially have to meet those certain requirements, and if they meet those certain requirements, then they know they're due an opportunity. But if you don't have any guidelines set, if you don't have any metrics to meet, then you can continue to circumvent guys that have been waiting for opportunities. Once everybody knows what those metrics are, then we can fairly select people, and that's ultimately all we want is fairness. We don't care if they're black or white or Hispanic. We just want the best coach, because I know if he knows what the heck he's talking about, not like a Ron Zook now, EB, E-Dog. You know, we got coaches out there that all right, I just need you guys to do it like so. Well, man, I'm not going to try to jam a guy like Dale Carter, and Dale Carter ain't going to do some of the stuff that I do. You got to coach Eric Warfield for what he can do. But oftentimes we overlook the technician side of the game and what the coaches are supposed to be doing, and we put everything on the player. No, man, that coach is just as responsible for putting you in that box in one situation. So the idea is to, man, give these guys a source where they can go find all these coaches, put a database together where all these coaches can be found so we can stop having Mike Zimmer pick his son and pick Gary Kubiak's son. And these guys ain't but 33 and 34 years old as coordinators. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So we can't be surprised when Minnesota's head coach gets fired. We can't be surprised.
Right.
Because they didn't hire their sons now. So, man, we got to do better by the game of football and making it fair for everybody. And that's essentially what we're trying to do. We're saying, hey, this is a solution. It's not the answer, but it's a solution. And we think that the NFL owners should look at it. And so we're hoping to meet with the diversity committee and Chairman Rooney and sit down and say, I had a call with the NFL brass on September 8th, about a week or so ago, and I introduced it to them at that time. And we're hoping to have further discussions because we certainly believe that we need to have some type of system for these coaches to know what is required of them so that they know if they want to be a head coach, hey, it can change every year, but at least you know what the requirements are going to be when it comes to being a head coach in the National Football League.
Man, it's vital. It's vital.
It's vital, man. Eric Bieniemy has probably lost how many hiring cycles? How many years now? He's gone through 8 interviews over the last 3-4 years. That man's lost anywhere from $10 to $20 million when we start looking at if he would have been hired as a head coach when he first got interviewed. That's a lot of money to lose, man.
That's true. That's
a lot of bread.
I'm happy he's still with us, but I do think he's well deserving of a head coaching job. Well deserving.
What do you think the reason is, James?
Well, I mean, I hear all kinds of speculation. This is the one story that I heard when he went out to New York to interview. They said he went in and he sat down and he told him, well, here's 3 options at coordinator. Offensive coordinator. Here's 3 options at D coordinator. And they said, well, he didn't come in and just tell us who was his guy going to be. He needed to just have 1 D coordinator and 1 O coordinator, and that would have been the best thing. But he had too many guys. Well, then I looked at the Brandon Staley interview just last night, right? And Brandon Staley's initial press conference, he didn't have a coach at all. He didn't even have a consideration for his staff. He met with the family. When do you know a guy that's just a candidate to meet with the family? if you meeting with the family, you're pretty much in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in there. You're not. It's everything else is a formality. But he didn't even have a list of coaches. You see what I'm saying? So we can't have this inconsistency where Eric Bieniemy is told because he had too many coaches, he didn't get a job. But when Brandon Staley goes to interviews with the Chargers, he has absolutely no one, and they hire him. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't know what it is with EB. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but in fairness to him, there needs to be a neutral party in the room where they can see exactly see and hear what's exactly being said, and then you can, when you leave the room, you can say, "Hey, man, let's go show up in these areas, or make sure you do this or that, so that if you get that second one, you're ready to go. Make sure you got your book together, right? Book preparation is critical. Like, you know, what's training camp going to look like? What's your regular season practice is going to look like? All that stuff has to be laid out.
Yeah. Yes.
Preparation is key. So I don't know if EB has had some missteps along the way, but I know for sure the rules are not consistent from one organization to the next, and there needs to be some sort of consistency so guys know what to expect. You can't tell one guy he can't have 3 or 4 options per coordinator, and another guy has no one, and he gets a job. This is not right. Yeah. But it's never going to be about race. It has to be about the best guy.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
I want somebody to teach me how to get my hands on this dude. I don't care what color he is. Man, what leverage should I have on this dude? Should I bail on him a little bit and fake and come back and choke him, or should I just sit there on the line and be real patient? Tell me how I should go about doing it, Ron Zook. You laughing. Because, hey, you remember that story where Ron Zook told me, hey, you got to drive on that slant and go by Tim Brown. I don't know if you remember that. He said, hey, why didn't you drive on that slant by Tim Brown? I said, because, man, it was a horrible route. I could tell he was running a slant and go. He said, well, if you don't break down on it, I'm going to have to put somebody else in there. Everybody in the room went, ooh. Everybody. And I think somebody said, Coach, I think Dale might have said while he was sleeping on the floor, Coach, are you saying you're going to bench Hasty? and Zook said, well, I'm just saying, James, I'm just look, man, I don't care what the guy looks like. I just want the best guy. That's all I want, man. And I truly believe this. Whoever that best guy is, that is the guy that should get hired. Period.
Well, I know this. I know you can't force an organization, anybody, to hire anyone, right? And that's I like what you're doing, because what you're essentially doing is turning the mirror up on the organization. It's like, look, we're using your words against you. This is who you're saying.
Those are your words. These are your words. These are your options right here.
Yeah. And so I know there's, different coalitions of coaches, Black coaches, get together kind of talking about some of the things of being prepared. Like one of my friends that was going to be interviewed down here at one of the universities to coach, I won't say where, but I was just telling him, when you go and you do like the interview, here's some of the things that you have to have, like you were talking about, Hasty, right? Having your game plan already put together. He was trying to be a coordinator. Talk about your scheme, how you're going to be prepared, what you're going to run in practice, how you're going to do the off season. Like all these things, you got to understand that it's vital to, this organization and what you're telling them about who you are, what you're going to bring to the table, and how they're going to get better having you there is important. And so doing those interviews and getting guys prepped for those things, it's like, look, if everything's on an equal plane, like you're saying, Haste, look, everything on equal plane, there's no reason why you can't hire an EB. There's no reason, especially you got the years and experience.
There's not.
While this guy's coming in from college who only has like 2 or 3 years, like you said, doesn't have anybody, and all of a sudden he's a head coach over here at, of a major pro team. Like, where's the discrepancy? What's the problem here, right? And so there's got to be answers. And so that's part of the problem because there hadn't been enough answers or, satisfying answers, put it that way, satisfying answers, right? They give you a reason not to hire anybody. Well, he didn't interview right, or, he didn't, man, that's bull crap. It's bull crap. Look, EB doesn't have to be an ex-quarterback to be a coordinator, right? He can still be a head coach. So that right there is out the window. When I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the guy that's coaching for Detroit, head coach, tight end, Campbell.
Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell.
Look, happy for him. But they had Matt Patricia up there. Didn't do nothing. This is the guy you want? Jim Caldwell was up here, but then all of a sudden you get this guy who was Belichick. All his coordinators didn't really do anything. So I like that, man, just turning the mirror saying, like, look, everything, all the plane being equal, this is what you have compared to this guy, right? Easily this guy exceeds what this guy could bring to the table, and there's no reason why you can't hire him, right? There's no reason why you shouldn't. And so I like that. I like that you're doing that.
Well,
man.
another thing that the database has is a provisional patented algorithm, right? So I sat down with a professor in mathematics and put an algorithm together that considers things like what's your involvement on the staff? Are you a coordinator? Are you a position coach? Are you a quality control dude? It takes into account postseason play. It takes into account player development. And it essentially creates a rating of the coaches, right? And we're tracking all the way back to if they coached high school, right? So we're not just looking at what they've done in college and pro college. We're going all the way back to high school. And so what we end up doing is we now have a rating for that particular coach, okay? EB in our system is an 89. And if you look at it as a letter grade, that's a B+, right? It's a really good grade. Now, look, in order to be in the 90s, you typically going to be a Hall of Famer, right? But, man, this algorithm is spot on. It's spot on, okay? So we got Eric Bieniemy at an 89, okay? And then if we go to sit down and talk with an owner, and the owner says, I think these variables are important: leadership, the ability to control the locker room, understanding of the X's and O's and the strategy of the game, communication. Okay, so those variables are important to him. And now we go and meet with another guy, some coaching candidates, and we say, hey, man, tell us about some of the things that you think are important. And they happen to hit on some of those same things, right?
Right.
And we're able to use our assessment tool and go and score based on those similarities. And now we can say, well, man, of all the candidates that we've interviewed, this guy has this type of rating out of our database and our algorithm based on his career success. And he aligns as close as possible to the things that you deem important. Now you have the best of both worlds. You got a guy that career-wise has been successful, and the other side, he thinks like you think.
Yeah.
That's a fit.
Yeah.
That's a match.
Right.
I don't care what color he is. That is your dude right there.
Right.
Now, unless you tell me you don't want to use those things that you told us a while ago and say that those weren't important now because he happens to be black, then you're identified as what you are, right?
Yeah.
But if we find someone that meets as close as possible to those things that you deem important, and they're pretty freaking outstanding individual career-wise, man, what's the problem?
Yeah.
So, James, have the owners been receptive and open to this? Because this it can catch them in a tough spot, right? If they want to pick someone other than the way that you present them, being Bieniemy at an 89, and they don't choose them, now there's more feedback on, okay, what is the reason? So are you?
We know the reason, though, man. That's the whole reason behind the system.
We know the reason, but are the owners receptive to you being involved in the process?
You know what? We're hopeful that they are open and to the idea. We at this point right now would like to meet with the diversity committee that's chaired by Art Rooney with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
And that's all we can do, man. No one has been able to come up with a solution, right?
Yep.
And so it takes it takes me to sit there and listen to Roger Goodell go on TV, on national television, and talk about how he was wrong about Colin Kaepernick, and to talk about how he's willing to listen to all people, to all former players as well. And so I took it upon myself with my fixed budget, okay, and put my hard-earned money into something that I believe can help improve the game that's done so much for me and my family and my friends and my former teammates. Right. So this is just my way of giving back. If they, I hope they're receptive, man. But I don't see anything better coming down the pipe. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. I don't see anything better coming down the road. It's just my attempt to try to help and solve this problem. Hey, if they don't want it, I can't force them to be interested in it. But I'm certainly excited about it, and I just hope other folks will give it a chance to take a look at it. You know what I mean?
I didn't realize we were gonna go this long with the episode, but it was a lot of fun. We can catch up another week if y'all want to.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was good.
Man, appreciate you, bro.
Keep me on the list, man.
Hey, we'll get you back on there.
Yeah. All right, Hayes, man. Hey, I'm gonna stay in contact, man. Seeing everything you're doing with that, man.
Man, you guys make sure to do that. That'd be great, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got your
email. Give y'all updates.
Okay.
Good talking to y'all.
All right, now, man.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, man. Love y'all guys. Y'all be good now.
All right, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Chief Concerns presented by BetOnline. As always, if anyone in Chiefs Kingdom has any Chief Concerns for these guys, please tweet at us at @ConcernsChief, and please subscribe and follow Chief Concerns on YouTube, the Believe Podcast Network, or any place podcasts can be found. And if anyone wants to be a guest on our show, just drop us a DM or email us at chiefconcerns@yahoo.com.